What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Welcome back, everybody, to NECC here in Week 6. We've got another Valorant game for you guys. Third game of the day, and we're going to have a fourth one for you after this one. But let's talk more about this one coming into it. My name's Infernos. Has been here already, joined by a new co-caster. How you doing today, Vincent?
I'm doing pretty good. Already off of some Ascent games, and we're coming into at least one Ascent game here as well for the stream. And listen, I think these two teams, we're going to see an interesting matchup. Florida Gulf Coast going up against Sac State Green. It's a little bit interesting, right? FGCU coming out 4-1 right now on the season, whereas Sacramento, they've had a little bit of a tough season thus far, 2-3 at the moment. But I will give them some credit. Their losses are to some pretty darn good teams in Boise State. I would put them near the top of things, and then UC Davis as well. So for both of those reasons, I think that 2-3 status, not necessarily the most reasonable of statuses for Sac State. I think they're much better than that really implies.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a very good game for us. I think Florida Gulf, I think the FGCU side, they have a pretty good standard for themselves coming into it. They have an esport program over there that's fairly competent. I know that they have their own things they host and work things in that. They have a couple things to do with Overwatch, CSGO, Valorant as well. And obviously they're coming in fairly strong here with Valorant, like you spoke about, only having lost one game to that Johnson and Wales first team. And they have beaten Boise State, which we see right here on the scoreboard. We do see Sacramento State has also won against that Boise State side while losing to their first team. In terms of the matchups across the board, though, I don't see any repeats across the board from either side, which is interesting besides the Boise State 2 side, which both won.
Yeah.
So,
and that Boise State 2 side, I would say one of the weaker teams in this champion division. Definitely no slouchers, but definitely not up there with like the Boise State 1 side, or for example the FGCUs of this division. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I think, for the Sac State side of things, and I think this is really going to be a measuring stick for them, because like I said, I think that their win-loss record doesn't really tell the whole story, and they realistically could come out swinging this evening. It's just a matter of, do they? FGCU clearly are strong, and they have something to prove. They want to kind of move on to that close to 1 seed position and potentially take on Boise State first. That would be, I think that those guys are at the very top of this division. I haven't looked at the standings, but I'm 90% sure. I saw Boise State like twice, and they are looking very, very good. So yeah, I think that both these teams have a lot to prove today, and it's really going to come down to who's able to come out swinging, who's able to take those opening duels, and who is the difference maker there, particularly on those agents that are the duelist agents. I think those are going to be the big difference makers.
yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be starting off on Bind. And like you said, we will see that Ascent map. You talked about being there previously. We will see that as the second map choice. And then if it does make it to the third map, it will be on Split. Now, talking a little bit about Bind, however, this map is pretty important. You do have the ability for those portals that go from one side to the other to kind of switch it around. The one takes you from A short all the way over to the B short side. Of course, the one from B long to the A long near Showers and Bath. The ability to rotate quickly for the attacking side is going to be prevalent, but there are some defensive sides that will opt to go for that as well, and we'll have to see if there's any mind games being played around those. But in terms of the agent picks coming through, we already have players locked in on the Jet. Goon and Quiz just locking that one in. They know what they want. They're going to pick it up. We might see an Astro from Psycho, and that's going to be interesting to see considering how new she is.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen an Astra on the field today,
Game 1.
but the thing is that I think Astra can be very strong. The question is, how do you use her effectively? That's the real problem. So new that it's really hard to get the large value out of them, and so I would say that the safe option is probably to go with the more established picks. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't do that, and I don't think that would be a horrible decision for any of these sides. But it looks like more than likely we're going to see a very normal compositional setup. We've got Omens for both sides. We don't yet see the Sovas for both sides, but I'm assuming that Psycho might be moving towards that direction, and indeed he does, as we see the raises for both sides locking in as well. So this is pretty much your standard composition and a mirror composition as well, which means that realistically, it's just going to be who is able to execute this composition better that is going to come out on top with the lack of any compositional changes.
Yeah, the mirror match will definitely be an interesting thing to keep into account. Cyphers, not too strange to see. I mean, this is in my opinion the map where Cyphers thrive on. You can say there's a couple other maps where Cyphers can be strong on, especially with that, hit smoke that he has. He can place them high, cut off. You see footholds and take shots and ankles. This one I just really love because the ability to just say, hey, we'll give up one objective, play cameras in that side, kind of cut off sight lines, and, this was one of the very first maps inside the beta, along with Cypher being one of the most played in the beta because he was one of the first unlockables. A lot of people had a lot of experience playing him on this map, and so there's going to be a lot of history behind it, so a lot of available gameplay that is still going to be adapted upon to this day and ever-changing, especially with nerfs and buffs that come through for every single agent that comes around. And while Astra would have been interesting to see, I still think Omen, at the current state of her playstyle, is better because he has more experience and people know more how to play him.
Yeah, I mean, like I was alluding to, it's a big question mark if you were to pick up an Astra here, and I think that at this level, in the champion division, I don't think it's necessarily worth that. To go that direction. So we're going to be seeing a lot of contestation around this part of the map, being the showers, the area that is such a key area to hold on to both defensively and offensively. So be sure to look out for that as we move forward. But there's the pistol round. Looks like it should be an A hit. The way that it's shaping up, that spike is over here towards A as well.
We'll see blinds coming from both Omens. They're going to catch a lot of people on this A short push. It's a minute left on the clock. One player in U-Haul. It's going to be the Darien player who does win out the engagement as well against Josh. Plant coming in from the ARC inside. Spike bolts coming out, nothing really coming of that. A little bit of damage tagged to the opposing rays, but nothing really going from that end. Player in showers taking an engagement as well. U-Haul aggressively taken as Goon finds out Ruck. Psycho falling to Goon as well. Triple kill from Goon to Darien, but it'll be Triple R who finds Kaizen. And the last player to fall will be Quiz. Triple R on his second kill as well. And attackers take it a near flawless victory. He was the only player on that side to fall. It was Josh, and it could have gone either way, but aggressive stance coming through, and they take that one pretty handily.
Yeah, FGCU looking strong there in the opening, and on top of that, you saw how they pretty slowly and methodically took the showers area and then set up their push off the back of that. Really made it difficult to live inside that U-Haul position, and then of course Goon with great defense of the site, a triple kill with that pistol. The Ghost very powerful, of course, as you would expect. So seeing those buys though, it looks like a very limited investment coming in for the defense, and well, already frag going the way of those offense and make it a double.
I think Kaizen was he was on camera or something along the sort, just completely in the nade of Triple R, and it's going to go the other way. A shorty in hand will not matter, or lose to the judge to the opposition. Goon will find the kill into Quiz. Goon in a bad spot, still wins it. Does fall to Darien on the refrag, and it's just Darien remaining. A 1v4. Player pushing through vent. It'll be Triple R who finds the kill. And another one that got a little bit close. You did see it completely denied, however, by Goon, who swept out. And now we're going to finally be able to see a round where full buys will be happening. And thankfully, because we can actually see how these teams will fare against each other in a normal round.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be the bonus round, though, to be fair, from the attackers, so they don't have the full investment, but the defense certainly does. So Sac State in a good position this round to take things away. And on top of that, I will say that I like the aggression coming out from FGCU. I talk about it all the time, that the more aggressive team typically is going to be the victorious team. And so I'm on the lookout for any aggression here defensively, but those Paranoias are already really doing a good job here towards A.
The Recon Bolt will tag a little bit before being destroyed out. A rush coming through, the aggressiveness like you were talking about before. Darien finding Goob at refrag now as Nightmare finds Kaizen. Darien finds his second before falling to Josh. And it is a 3v3. You still have a pretty good man advantage. Your 3 players left for the ARC inside. There are your arguably worst players, your bottom of the leaderboard players, I would say, in this situation. They do have some fairly competent firearms in hand, but it looks to be a teleporter split, and it looks like a semi-completed B-short push back through into Link.
Oh, and that's a big find, though, by Rux. Able to pick up that frag. Now they know that this A hit, isn't coming back more than likely. Granted it is, but it's slow. It's going to take a long time to actually come through. And Rux can just hang out here and wait for the information and then swing in. So this is big. 2-on-3 now. And honestly, FGCU in a tough spot.
a little bit of a bait situation. They played like they were going to head to B, so now they have a little bit of advantage despite being a player down. They'll smoke off, planting now in default. Could be a peek out coming from the opposing player of Rux, but it does not seem to be. Teleport coming out from the open. He's going to take a step back. Josh playing now behind boxes, looking for an opportunity for a play. The recon bolt from the opposition of Psycho, though, will make it a little bit difficult to actually push in without being spotted out. Defusing now, Nightmare finding Rux. Push coming through, he's gotten half of it, will not matter. Josh finds Psycho and Quiz on the refrag. A 1v1, and it's up to Nightmare versus Quiz. Quiz taps it, does get recon bolted out. Location gathered, throws the smoke screen, spray through, still holding it, and finds it! Sneaks it away, but Nightmare will find the kill in the end. But still, at GCU, they do not find their third round. A phenomenal defuse.
Yeah, albeit a very sloppy retake there from Sac State. They come away victorious, and a big win for them as well. Granted, look at the cash. I mean, it's abysmal. In fact, no way. Are they going to save here after winning a round? That would be crazy, but it looks like that might be what we're seeing. So, unfortunately, because of how sloppy that defuse was, nobody really faced. They just kind of took 1v1s. 3 1v1s is not usually the way to go. You want to make sure to double look, double face at best, and weren't able to do that. But Triple R does attempt to get aggressive there and gets, well, tagged down for the troubles.
Quiz finding Mountain does remove one FGCU player from the side. They had a fairly good battle bot coming at the very beginning stages of that boom bot play. It does give information, but they still managed to get the worst end of it. So now they have to decide how to push forward. They've taken the backside, however, Plant now going down on the B objective. Jet pulling out the daggers, trying to find, but Nightmare will find it instead. Quiz falls, and now a retake scenario.
Well, the tough spot here is look at everybody in one position. Rux winning that gunfight, though, makes this a lot easier.
Nightmare, a jump over the box. Darian finding Nightmare out. And now he's got to deal with 2 other players. Goon not allowing it, though, finding Kaizen and Darian to end that one off. And FGCU will take yet another round. They do have a better economy now, though, considering that they did save that last round. We could see Sacramento State try to come back with this one of the full buy, which we are seeing.
Yeah, I don't love the save after, like, you invest there regardless. But because of that, they do have a pretty solid buy into this round, and it was close, but the problem is you have 4 players retaking from Hookah. It's a bit of a shooting gallery, even if you get the opening pick like Rux did. So nonetheless, a difficult spot to be in there for Sacramento State, but now they certainly have a great opportunity to adjust things here in the next round. So round 5. Here, it looks as if we're seeing some aggression over towards showers, like I was talking about, a key area, of course, with that ult orb, something you definitely want to play around. And in addition, this long B position, Quiz and Psycho looking to hold that down, but Goon winning that gunfight out. Goon has been having a great game thus far.
Yeah, winning that first engagement is going to give yourself a huge advantage pushing forward. Now it's just 2 players holding onto this B site. And you're finally seeing a lot of the FGCU side rotate back around. Looking like they're going to be 4 players through long, and that actually might be a 5th as well. Slightly lagging behind is going to be your spike carrier of Josh, and they will gather that ult orb at the top between Garden and, of course, the portal itself. But camera gathered out information. Push does come through. Rux barely surviving. He will fall to Mountain, however. And the rush is continuing to go forward. Psycho onto Mountain, trying to find some more. He finds onto Josh, and the player cutting it with a pistol is going to be Nightmare through. Psycho falls in a 2v3. Player inside of Hookah, that's going to be the Omen in the flank. That's also coming behind Kaizen in a good situation to maybe play for that refrag onto the plant. He will fall. Kaizen finding Nightmare. A 2v2, and Kaizen has spiked down to the middle of the site, but Goon coming through as well, falling to Kaizen in a 1v2. Just the last player remaining of Triple R trying to find it. Will lose to Darian, and you're seeing Sacramento State take another round.
Yeah, Kaizen, what a great position there. Able to come back behind the entirety of that push. And unfortunately there for FGCU, the had a great opening, right? They got that pick over towards long, and then they kind of stalled out. They're unsure how to proceed, and then Psycho picking up those 2 frags, being a real thorn in the side of FGCU on that push-in, really created the space for that flank. I don't think we see Kaizen there. Psycho doesn't pick up those frags, and then, of course, able to close the round is Kaizen. So huge plays coming through from that side, and it really makes this a much closer game.
We are seeing a Sheriff coming from Triple R to lose the fight. It's not high noon anywhere in the world, and that'll go for Darian to find the kill with the Phantom. A 4v5. We do have the hunt going down. It's not seemingly connecting. I think it does actually tag Kaizen for a little bit, but not enough to guarantee anything, and the fight still engages. A minute and 14 left.
Yeah, that Hunter's Fury, it just kind of, he went fishing and he didn't find anything. A little bit of a mistake, I think. But nonetheless, could be turned into something more if we see Goon pop off with these Blade Storm.
Yeah, he does try to get the next, but it'll actually be picked up by Mountain instead. Kaizen does fall from Goon, and it is a 2v3. Plant could come down. Psycho up inside of Heaven, in the flank from behind by your player of your Jet. That's going to be Quiz trying to catch the backside off guard. Hunter's Fury coming from Psycho, trying to catch Goon. Will spray in multiple directions. I don't think they tag anyone inside of that, but Mountain will find Quiz, and now it is a 1v2. Mountain and Goon facing off against Psycho. They're going to rotate all the way over to the B site. We're going to see Psycho have to play for this replant, this post-plant scenario. Where was that going to?
Yeah, nowhere. This was a little bit closer, but still not ideal. But now, yeah, 1-on-2, you're going to have to try and swing into not only a Blade Storm, but a Vandal. This is a really tough spot for Psycho. Definitely going to win it. Has an Owl Drone and a Sonar Dart.
Standing ahead.
Does give information away, them having to shoot that. It doesn't give an exact position, thankfully, but Psycho going for the fight and will lose it. Goon finds the kill instead for their 3K. Goon, 12, 3, and 2 right now on the board. Doing a very phenomenal job themselves so far in this one.
Yeah, and Goon, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't think we had Goon on this roster initially. I think either is subbing in or definitely is new, one of the two, but playing it phenomenally regardless of what, what their status is with the team. And well, 4-2 the scoreline. It makes things a little bit more difficult. That being said, there are some tools here to work with on the defense. We see that there is a couple of shotguns available, and Rux, who has that showstopper as well. That big bazooka can certainly open things up, especially as there's a 3-player stack here in Hookah. This is a little bit aggressive, but hey, if it works out, this crossfire could certainly be good.
I like the fact that Quiz is kind of holding that short with the Frenzy. Does give away the position. Goon is aware of that. Pings it as well just to make double sure of it. And it's looking like the FGCU side has a better chance. Obviously, they do have an economy around them, and it's not just a mosh podge of random weapons you found inside of your closet, but I think they have a better chance of not engaging in that situation. They've already made and cleared out most of A side. 1 player inside of U-Haul. Or 2 players, sorry, inside of U-Haul. 1 inside of that backside of Vent. They'll get taken out. 3 kills dropping. Triple R, Josh, and of course Mountain, who will find Psycho. Mountain into his second to find Darian. And the last player standing for the opposing side of Sacramento State is going to be Quiz with that Frenzy I was speaking about before, and it's not looking hot for him.
I really love what FGCU do there. They know that the money's not great. So instead of trying to instead of trying to just go in and execute onto the site, they say, okay, we're going to play contact, meaning that they're not going to make any noise, not going to throw any utility, not going to shoot any weapons until they meet a player. And they just eke their way all the way out on site and clear half of it before seeing anybody. It was such a phenomenal call, and against what, is pistols and shotguns, worked out beautifully in order to just create long-range engagements that they were much more favored to do. So really great stuff there from Florida Gulf Coast. They put themselves up in a good position, 5-2 now, 3 rounds of the advantage. And, well, it's back to the bye if you are Sac State, but what do? It's been a little bit of a tough game for you on when it comes to the gun rounds. You've gotten 1 or 2 here, but not able to really establish your economy. And that's been the problem. Winning 1 round in a row is not ideal. And especially if you lose 4 players as well. We saw them take a save even after that.
Benson, what's your take on the Phantom versus Vandal? Because the Phantom, of course, a little bit stronger in closer range engagement with the Vandal long range. We're seeing no Phantoms for the side of FGC. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense on the attack, right? You have the ability to have that one shot, and well, see, for that reason, it makes it really easy to entry frag and to engage onto the site. Whereas on the defense, you have the spray down potential with multiple players. Typically going to happen way more often.
Goon updrafts their way up inside of Heaven. Rux on the close spot will find the kill. And Sax is trying to keep themselves in a recon ball with the other location, however, and it's not looking to be a good situation. A 2v4 now in play after Triple R's kill. Rux and Quiz need to find something for themselves. We do know that Rux is sitting over in Heaven, and Quiz is now taking the flank from the backside of Showers, but of course Nightmare is actually watching that angle as well. The firefight goes in favor of Nightmare, and now it's Rux in a 1v4. They do have a weapon in hand, a competent one to go through. This one does get tagged by Nightmare. He'll actually find the kill through the wall for his 3K. And yet another successful round now for the Florida Gulf Coast side. Devastating if you're facing off against them.
I really would have liked to see Rux try to save that weapon. There's really no point in walking in there 1v4. It's just, you know, is it possible? Yeah, of course. It's always possible if you step up, make an individual play of massive proportions. But the reality is that most of the time that's not going your way, and that weapon could have been incredibly important. We see, you know, now the cash is quite brutal for Sac State, and on top of that, like, we saw Nightmare doing some tactical crouching as well, just for the memes. You love to see that.
Been tactical. That's the term for it. Yes, indeed.
That's right.
Where do you see Mountain actually trying to use the recon bolt to maybe shoot at the ult orb? Maybe somebody was grabbing it. We'll pick back up the camera as well and rotate away. Nate tossed into Showers, won't connect with anybody, but there was the player previously there. That was Quiz, who took a damage in the firefight against Triple R. But another thing you talked about before, Florida Gulf Coast has done a phenomenal job of knowing their opposition's economy is weak and knowing their weapon arsenal to a degree, and not just playing to frag them, but also playing to keep your economy stable as well and devastate their side, and they're continuing to do that here.
Well, and look at their economy, like 7.5K, 8.5K, 7.4K, like everybody really very healthy. I mean, this is, at this point, you're looking at a buy for FGCU for the majority of the half, regardless of the outcomes. You know, as long as they don't lose, you know, 4 or 5 in a row, like, they're going to still have some money. And that's what's great about using your economy and tactically setting yourself up for success.
Does gather the position. Psycho actually finds Triple R, and time is running a little bit thin now for the FGCU side to come through. Josh onto Quiz, and a second now into Psycho. Phenomenal picks coming through. There is a teleport that comes through as well to try and maybe catch the rear side of the opposition. Darian opted to move to a different location, does find Goon in the process, evening this one out to a 3v3, so FGCU will not get away with this unscathed, having lost 2 players, but their economy can definitely take the hit. Josh finding under the opposition of Darian, his 3K in stride. Player coming over the top, he does get taken out by the bazooka you talked about previously. Rux will find a second with a judge, but it's not going to matter. Nightmare is there to clean it up in stride. A much closer round, but still leading in favor of Florida Gulf.
I would say that, you know, the fact that that's an eco round, or, you know, a half buy round, you're not really fully invested. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of the investment of an ultimate on a round like that, but I actually think it makes a lot of sense for, like, it was very winnable for Rux in that, so definitely useful to use that. And you put him down to 1 player. So remember how well the economy looked in the last round. It's taken a bit of a hit. It's still very healthy here for Florida Gulf Coast, but it's not nearly what it was, which is certainly a positive thing if you're Sac State. And so now Quiz looking to get aggressive. Operator in hand. This is exactly the kind of aggression that I've wanted to see from them throughout this game.
First kill goes to Quiz. That aggression you were talking about, finding success. Mountain will try to peek the mountain that is this hallway, just absolutely devastated, funneling into the scope. Nothing they can do about it, and quite frankly, that's a good start that we're already seeing. Quiz and SAC in general finally finding themselves a kill at the very beginning. I think this may be one of the first times where they actually find the first kill. Triple R did fall pretty early in the last one, but it was an eco round, so I don't necessarily qualify that the same as a full buy round.
Yeah, opening pick's certainly going to open you up to success, and, well, we'll see how this push goes.
Stepping through, Darian will find Josh. He is recon bolted, however, and he will fall to Nightmare than the spray through the smokes. a 4v3. Teleport has actually been taken, so now Spike is rotated over towards that shower side, but 2 players from SAC are over there as well. Quiz finding Nightmare, Psycho finding Triple R, and Quiz with a 3K to find Goon. And we actually see Sacramento State finding a round win. 7-3 now, and they need to start catching up before this half, because I think that Florida Gulf Coast has a pretty good chance on the defensive side to actually take this.
They certainly do. There's no question about it. And on top of that, I think that round, though, gives me a little bit of hope for Sac State. The reason I say that is that they played that perfectly in so many different ways. They got aggressive. They made a play. But not only just aggression, right? Quiz had help there. Had Psycho ready and waiting in the wind to help them out if things got a little bit spicy. They certainly did, with players pushing in all directions. And so here we are again, Quiz getting some information on this side of the map. This time, it's over at mid. Doesn't matter that there's nobody here. He gets the info, and he knows what's going on.
Goon does have the shotgun in hand, trying to just bait this corner, but it'll be Josh who finds Kaizen's strike. Player sitting up in tall boxes will not matter. Darian falls to Mountain. Rux finally finding a pick for their side onto Goon, and the nade will be tossed over the top to try and find something, but the position will be gathered from the Cypher ultimate. Stuck now inside vent. Your team kind of forced into this northern side, this defender-sided spawn direction. You need to start getting some picks. Recon Bolt taken out, but it will spawn out one of the players. Quiz inside of their ultimate. The Blade Storm needs to be able to connect. Some daggers toss over the top. I don't like the waste of the daggers in this situation. A little bit of a waste of the Recon Bolt as well. Psycho onto Josh, barely saving himself as Nightmare in the boom, but Triple R and Mountain will find 2 kills. Last player standing as Psycho falls to Mountain as well. And another FGCU successful round.
What a close round as well. That one could have gone either way, and fortunately their Mountain able to clutch up and get those 2 frags where they matter the most. Sac State falling, and now this is, I mean, this is looking more and more brutal if you just look at it realistically. Sac State, they're down big here. You know, picking up this last round would certainly mean a whole lot, and they have the investment, they have weaponry, so it's certainly possible. But you know, when the opening picks, like for example Darian and Psycho, both going down immediately there on, or rather, sorry, Darian and Kaizen both going down immediately on A, it's just not ideal.
Hunter's Fury will come out from Nightmare. I think it does manage to tag Psycho on that last one, but the push will have to come through. They're going to play aggressively immediately. No regard for personal safety coming through. They're just going to step up, trying to find it. Mountain finding Quiz, doing just that. Player behind will fake the plant, but it's not going to seemingly matter. Triple R saving the life of Nightmare by taking out Rux as Josh finds Darian. Control of site gather. Triple R controlling the situation as well as Psycho falls, and it's just Kaizen staying in the backfield, coming in from that link side. And they're just going to pop everything. They know it's over. Steps through. Kaizen gets the shot of the Omen who's teleporting, but they'll find Nightmare before he falls. Just a consolation prize, really and truly. This last round, switching sides now. And FGCU starting off insanely strong here. 6 rounds ahead on the defensive half. Now switching to defensive halves, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, this is very unfortunate if you're a Sac State fan. I mean, they were just not able to get anything rolling. We see, you know, if you take a look at the scoreboard, right? It's around here, around there, not able to put anything realistically together. And beyond that, just a lot of gunfights not being won out as well. That's the other thing. And honestly, you know, one might say Kaizen sitting down at the bottom of the leaderboard, but Kaizen is playing a Cypher. Like, that's the player who's committed, you know, to a site. He's rotating in to horrible situations like that 1-on-5. And the round that he was given enough time to actually have impact, he had huge impact and won the round for his team. So, like, just to be clear, Kaizen, whilst at the bottom of the leaderboard on the Sac State side, actually not having a bad game at all. It's just not been in a good position to do much of anything.
Speaking of good position, Mountain finding 3, and Goon's even shaking his head at him. Mountain's going to try and re-peek for another one. It's actually a little bit too close to the side. He will fall to Darian, but Goon's not going to let it matter. He finds the refrag. Darian will fall, and it's a 4v1, and Kaizen, the man you were just talking about, forced into that 1v4, will lose it off of a nade from Triple R. Great round from Florida Gulf Coast again, and I think it was really just because Mountain kind of just won the fight. Win your engagements. That's a 1-on-3. There's no excuse for Sacramento to lose that.
No, you have to get those trades. That's just the reality of the situation. and not picking up that trade. Yes, it's an incredible play from Mountain, but you have to understand that it's also a pretty big mistake from Sac State. And so now I need to see some adjustments from them if they realistically are going to try and get back into this. They're saving this round, so they're giving up that 11th, which I think is respectable, actually. But what else can they do?
There's really not much you can do, but they're coming in with shorties. They're really trying everything coming through. Josh just stepping away, not liking it at all. The Spectre in hand. He wants to stay alive with it. Plant going down onto the side, but it'll be denied. Nightmare finding two. Refract by Kaizen. Josh finding Rux. That U-Haul push still has two players in tow. Quiz shooting his teammate, not sure why, but Kaizen wins the Ghost fight against Triple R. His SMG not able to win in that engagement against the Ghost. But Kaizen's looking worse for wear, and now he's having to do it alone. Falling to Goon on the double kill to end that one off. Shotguns are the name of the game for that round. FGC, you take that one, and a very good round indeed. I liked the aggression I saw from Sacramento State to try and keep that plant up. It just didn't end as well as FGCU size had previously.
Yeah, it was actually a great strategy. I would agree with you there. The thing is that FGCU made adjustments very quickly. They fell back. They realized, okay, they're looking to play these close range engagements. We're not favored in those engagements, so let's just fall back, wait for the retake, and then retake together where we're more favored. And that's exactly what they did to perfection. It really is showing how FGCU as a team are able to adjust at a moment's notice. So with that said, guns are out this time around for Sac State. 3-11 is the scoreline, and this is do or die time here in map number 1.
Seems to be a pretty split all around. You do have two players who are initially looking to go towards A from that Sacramento side, but three players looking towards B. Two on long, one on short. Looks like the side of FGCU is kind of getting impatient. They want to peek this midsection. They could win this firefight. Goes in the favor of Rux, however, as Mountain will peek it and not even hit enough shots. I mean, you think he did manage to tag Rux. No, Rux is in fact just using light armor, so that's the reason for that variation. But Teleport used. Rux turns away. Could have been bad timing. He won't find any, and Nightmare will find the kill. And a 4v4 is underway, and it looks like the Sacramento side has taken control of B, but it's like a complete flip of the map here. Engagement going on A side between your player that is Triple R, I believe, and also the opposition that is, of course, Kaizen Strife. They know of each other. They're just playing chicken here.
It truly is a game of chicken. Finally, Kaizen wins that out. Honestly, this reminds me of old Inferno in the CS days. You get the spawn of the defenders, and you rotate around to the other site within it. So now we'll see how things can go here. Retake coming in from, ironically, the attacker side of things once more.
And going to be a hard-fought situation. FGCU has won most engagements in previous rounds, but they're man disadvantaged, and they don't have as strong of arsenal that we see from the Sacramento side. Goon, however, will find it despite that. Planted a weird situation. Open field. Quiz finds the kill. Josh is able to refrag on a Quiz. Josh finding Kaizen, but Psycho onto Goon. A 1v1, and it will go in favor of the Sacramento side. The player inside Vent, that Psycho, will clear out the opposition of Josh despite his valid attempt. It was close, but no cigar.
Man, but it was awful close, and that's the biggest problem here. That should have been I mean, realistically, that should have been a demolishing from Sac State. But, you know, even with the man advantage, they nearly lost that. Came down to the 1v1. Josh with a huge double kill. It worries me. It definitely does. Those are where those aim duels that I think in general we're seeing FGCU win out in. Those are so important there. And we see Goon, who's picked up an operator. We saw how effective Quiz could be in this position, and Goon is certainly as effective.
Yeah, Kaizen's drive going out. Absolutely disappointing if you are the, of course, if you are the Sacramento State side. You don't want to lose that cipher that early. You need that intel, that information. Well, it is a little bit less importance of attack and is not as many uses that can come through. It's still very valid to have because you desperately need that. We do see that a lot of utilities being used inside of Hookah. Not much is connecting, however, but Quiz holding near that doorway could actually catch player off guard. Josh, who's peeking outside of U-Haul. There could be a pretty swift engagement on this A objective.
Well, and there it is. Fast and quick indeed. but it doesn't really give any favor over towards the attackers. And once again, it's a man disadvantage.
Hunter's Fury will come out. It does not seem to tag. Psycho is low, however. Very close for that last one to come through. Spike will now be initiating a spike going down. Successful. So now you have the player that is Mountain coming in from behind that A short, and engagement coming to him and Psycho. Mountain wins that. And now players in U-Haul will try to connect with the opposition. Finds Darian, and it's a 3v1. Ruck's in a bad spot, but he finds Triple R. Still tagged here. Position mostly known. The Cypher smoke will come through, and it's not going to matter. Mountain finds the kill. Rux falls, and it's going to be a match point situation now for the Florida Gulf Coast side.
Man, Mountain finding that kill through the cage as well. It's such a big frag, and well, yeah. Map point already 12-4, and I feel that honestly, this is simply a matter of time for FGCU to close out. Sac State, they've had some good ideas. They've had some good adjustments, but their money is pretty shot at the moment, and on top of that, they haven't really been able to put things together here on their attacker side. Maybe the one or two positives to run out of this is that Rux can maybe find an opening pick off the back of this showstopper, or maybe Psycho goes fishing and catches something with the Hunter's Fury. But I mean, either way, it's going to be rough. And well, there goes that showstopper. No longer a problem in this round.
Absolutely a huge, devastating blow, but thankfully, Kaizen Strife will get away with his life, just narrowly missing getting shot by Goon. But Quiz will not. Mountain will fall to the Phantom in hand. Sorry, not Mountain will fall. Mountain will find the kill with the Phantom in hand. Goon finding a second with the Operator into Kaizen Strife. And it's a 2v5. Darian and Psycho. They're trapped over inside of this B long, and Goon is not going to let Psycho be trapped for long. It's going to be one player remaining. Darian. I think Goon is actually going to start getting aggressive. They're placed up in a little bit of a high angle. Spike is gathered. Will jump through. Finds it for the 4K. Cheeky bounce all the way in. And in a phenomenal ending round. Good game. Map 1 is in the books.
Man, map 1, a dominant showing there from FGCU. Something that, you know, I thought could happen, but I had hope that Sac State would be coming out swinging. Unfortunately, that did not at all occur. And on top of that, man, Goon, what a great game. 21-9, the eventual scoreline. And, I mean, everyone else playing well, too, for Florida Gulf Coast. But the thing is, Goon had so many rounds. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 3Ks, and then obviously the quad there to close out the map. It certainly shows the level that Goon is at the moment, and this FGCU side really looking indomitable throughout. I don't even really think that it was a tactical, you know, mishap from Sacramento State. They didn't particularly play a bad tactical game. They just weren't hitting the same shots as Florida Gulf Coast were.
You have to win your ones. I mean, that's just the name of the game. Really, when it comes down to it, it's just a point-and-click adventure game. I make that joke all the time in R6. It never lands. I don't expect it to land here either, but I don't expect half these teams to really land either because they're not hitting their ones and they're suffering because of it. But we're going to head to a quick little break. It's going to be into the between section of this one. The next map we're going to be heading over to is going to be Ascent, and we're going to see if Florida Gulf Coast can finish this one off strong here in the second map. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Welcome back, everybody. An extremely short break, at least that's what it felt like, but we are back. My name is Infernosis, joined here again by Vincent. How you doing today? Great map 1. What do you predict for map 2?
Well, I mean, based on what we saw in map 1, it's hard not to predict a quick 2-0 sweep there for FGCU. They're technically favored here, 4-1 on the season already, and they put on an absolute stomping. Map number 1 going 13-4, and realistically, Sacramento State never able to really put anything together. And I mean, listen, it just looked as if Florida Gulf Coast, they were shooting guns pretty good, you know?
They were yeehawing it up with them guns. They're doing what they do best, and
That's right.
exactly what we do. Yeah, absolutely. And we make these jokes. You're from Georgia, right? Like
I am.
I'm
I'm
from
allowed to make
Alabama.
that.
So
I'm allowed to make
it's-
this joke.
I grew up on a farm, so these jokes are just some, they're all the way in there. But the none of the next map that we're going to is probably the least southern you can get. It's Ascent, a city in the sky or whatever it is on a giant mountain, whatever it is, the story for it, right? But very different from a Western style.
I had somebody earlier say that Ascent is basically like the city in the Avengers movie where it goes up into the sky. There was basically that. Sokovia, is that what it was?
Yeah. Where's Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch? Where's Quicksilver?
Yeah. So maybe very much not in the southern United States if that's the case. I'll say.
Yeah.
Though I have no idea canonically where it's at. But nonetheless, I think Ascent is a map where the positives that I saw from FGCU and Bind only get more positive on Ascent, I feel. The aggression is something that you need to have on Ascent defensively, especially. You have to be able to take A main and B main at times. You have to create those opportunities. You have to make space for yourself. And on top of that, you have to hold map control. And that's, again, something that FGCU did very well. So for me, it really is going to be about Sacramento State. How do they adjust? What do they do? Maybe there was a talking with the coaching staff. Everybody had a conversation, and there was a pick-me-up. I don't know what happened, but it needs to be amazing for Sac State because they definitely need to make a step up in this game number 2. Otherwise, they could be going home here 2-0 this evening.
Yeah, I also predict that we're going to see another really great run here from the HECU side. I'm looking forward to what they're capable of. I think, like you said, taking control of that B main and A main, it's going to be really important. The aggressiveness that can come through. If you're complacent when you're trying to cross through mid or engage in mid between whether it's going to be that mid link and, cubby or puppy, as some people will call it, or if it's going to be top and bottom, you have to be aggressive. And if you're talking about operator battles, the sniping battle that can take place in mid, well, then FGCU has won most of the operator battles. I think I only saw 1, maybe 2 battles in which an operator was involved for the Sac State side that Sac State won. Most of the other ones went completely the other direction. So maybe switch up who's your operator. Maybe who is that player you're going to bring into that one? Maybe it's just not their map. Maybe it's not their game. Hand it to somebody else. Try to find what's going to work for you. It may just be a consolation prize to get yourself more than 4 or 5 rounds on the board, but at least you'll be doing better than you were the map before.
Well, and Quiz was the operator player there for Sac State, and I don't actually think that it had anything to do with Quiz's performance. They just didn't have any money. There was not money for an operator. The one round that they got an operator out, Quiz got a 3K. Quiz was doing what Quiz could do whenever the operator was in his hands. The problem was that Sac State were never in a position to put it into his hands, and Goon just had some great frags over the course of the series, over the course of the map rather, and so that's why Goon stands out in our mind. I don't even think it was a bad 1v1. It was just Quiz never had the weaponry to contend.
To be fair, Quiz had one phenomenal hold inside showers, but the 3 came with the operator. And so you may be entirely right. Maybe the economy, which we did know was in shambles from the majority of that matchup, just didn't favor their side. But if that's the case, in FGCU, who had done a phenomenal job of keeping their economy in that much of a wreck, they don't really have a way to counter that than besides just winning rounds. How can you get the operator out to have that star standoffish player of Goon, of Quiz, to continue to kind of get that reign with the operator if you can't get the money to afford an operator? Do you take a 4-round loss at the beginning and save up that much to go for it and not play those bonus rounds with SMGs and kind of soft buy it out? Or do you actually manage to win these rounds at the beginning? We'll have to find out, because round 1's going to be that pacemaker that we're going to have to find out what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, to answer your question a little bit, I think that obviously win rounds forehead is a great way to do that. But, beyond that, you can definitely make some more economic decisions and not buy in as much on your operator player in order to get those operators out more consistently. And we'll see if they can do that. They're starting out on the attack here, our Sacramento State, and we'll see how they fare.
Going to be first engagement comes through. It actually goes as Triple R finds a double. Will not be allowed to get the triple to match his name as Kaizen will finish that one off, but a 3v3 is underfoot. Nightmare inside market. We'll see Darian is crossing back over to that B-side main. Switch will be switched as well. 2 players inside of B main. Darius kind of holding tight as well. And it's going to be a post-plant scenario. You do have your player, the opposing Soba, that is, of course, Psycho, holding strong near the actual Cubby side. He's on objective, switching back from that. Recon bolt goes. Josh finding the kill, and he's going to go in return. Support coming through. Darian onto Josh. Darian is the last man standing. The defuse could actually continue to go through. They need to push this one out. Darian in a firefight against Mountain. He's going to start the plant. Darian tagging through the wall. This is going to be a bad situation. They can't finish off this Sacramento player. I think they won't be able to as well. He needs the support. He'll find it. Mountain saves it. Time is going to be close, and he will get it in the final few seconds. Jeez, that was close for them.
Whew. 1.08 seconds, man. That is, talk about close. Yeah, I mean, about as close of a margin as you would like there on the defense, but still a victory coming out that time around. And I mean, listen, I think that the awesome part about this for FGCU is that they've once again pulled out a victory pistol round, and they've started out strong. Sac State, they're back onto the back foot, but look at their buy. They're really not investing super heavily, and this is what I was talking about, suggesting that you don't necessarily have to go full guns blazing and invest heavily into round 2. You can definitely throw an eco in here and try and buy in the third.
We definitely had seen that. Zach did not do that previously, but we are seeing it come through. Mid seems to be kind of a focus. Psycho does catch the opposing player, but Mountain will catch the kill. Kaizen Strife will fall in that mid battle. He loses his life over in that mid link between the opposite of mid bottom. A rush will also come through. I believe it's actually Goon who steps across. He's now looking to push towards B lobby and maybe catch the opposing Rux off guard. Rush coming through. Josh finding through the wall of Darian. Shots from window near Garden. Triple R connecting it to Rux. And it is a 5v2, not looking hot. A 5v1. Quiz finds one, but will fall. And a phenomenal round once again by FGCU, but it was a good attempt, and Spike was planted, so a little bit of an economy boost for the Sac State side.
Yeah, not too shabby. I mean, and look at the health bars. 3 players are very, very low still. So those pistols were just a little bit off in finding frags against the FGCU side of things. And so with rifles, maybe that's different. With about 4,400 credits to everyone's name, now you can pull out the purchase. And this is going to be a fairly strong purchase at that, able to pull out pretty much everything that you would like. Some upgrades as well for the FGCU side, but mostly sticking with those Spectres as you would expect. And so now the question is, where do you go? The Spike is currently over towards long A, but it looks like it's pointing towards mid. So realistically, anything could happen. You could go anywhere from this position as the dark cover goes out in order to stop any aggression towards Catwalk, and Goon gets aggressive here at A.
Nightmare finds Quiz, but Rux will fight the refrag in tow, finding Nightmare with the Vandal, and tied again for a 4v4. Quiz, who's only had 1 kill so far, seems to be a mostly positive trade, as Nightmare was the top frag, or should I say tied for top frag player for the FGCU side. So I'd say take that a little bit positively, but quite frankly, FGCU has been playing with mostly Spectres here in this round, so quite weak in terms of economy deficit, but I still think FGCU have a good chance of taking this one. Player Triple R, he's holding on to the B site. Looks like a B main push coming through from the backside of Octopus. Omen Smokes will cross to maybe cut sight lanes off from that defender spawn. Lure will come through. Nade comes through, tagging a little bit of Rux, forcing them out of the position of that tertiary corner as well. It'll be Triple R trying to find Rux. Can't do it as he gets taken out instead. They seem to have control of the objective, and they have shut down the doorway between Switch.
Oh, and you know, that is a big frag there. Now things look a little bit better. I was a bit worried, but now in round 3, this is very winnable defensively. They have lots of utility left to play with.
Seems to be 1 player on the site, 2 in the back of boat. Space through the walk, no one actually through the box. Kaizen not allowing Mountain to stay alive for much longer, and it will be a walkthrough on that Cubby. Shots connecting to the omen of the opposition. Kaizen will find the kill onto Josh. and it's just going to be Goon who can't get it done. Psycho will find the kill, and after a 2-round deficit, finally Sac State will take their first.
Yeah, and I think an interesting mistake right there from FGCU. They had Goon in a really forward position at A, right? We saw that early on in the round after Nightmare traded out. But the thing is that they didn't rotate off the back of that. They still had Josh very aggressively pushed up there to help Goon, but nobody was home. Goon already heard the players fall back. So a big mistake not to rotate off of that. They only had one player for that push over at B, where they could have had 4.
Looks to be a push coming through A. Quinn's going to clear out Wine as well, and a very aggressive push. This is going to dash his way onto the objective to look for a plant, or to help his Omen, to place the plant. Darian's going to go ahead and start it off. They have control of Hell. They're going to spray up towards the top of that Raptors, maybe catch a player. Maybe a player will actually step up towards the headbox glitch spot to maybe catch the opposition playing up top off guard. Still a 5v5. Phenomenal job well done by Sac State to actually get the plant down and not lose a player. But now a really difficult retake situation for FGCU.
Well, and they don't have a lot of utility or weaponry for that matter. And, well, line them up, knock them down. It looks like they're falling. No Goon. That Bladestorm had an opportunity, but that's quickly dispatched.
Not sure why you'd use your ult in this situation. Maybe confident enough in getting it recharged. It doesn't seem to matter, though, but it's going to end in a successful attacking round win. It will be tied at 2-2 now, and this is going to be difficult now. You finally can get a full buy coming from FGCU. We have an operator in the hands of Goon. Does not seem to be an operator coming from the side of Sac State just yet. And no one really with enough. You could have saved, and Rux could have tossed his gun and maybe go for it as well, but ruin his economy in the process. They're trying to figure out what they exactly want to do. Maybe just a Vandal buy from his teammate.
Yeah, I'm not loving the investment of the Bladestorm. What I do love is the 5 ultimates online here for the offense. You have so many opportunities. There's the Bladestorm already for Quiz, and then it looks like it's going to be maybe a lockdown play at B, or maybe not even the lockdown.
A teleport will come through to maybe get over the situation a little bit faster, catch the flank of the opposition. Market is just completely shut down here. No chance whatsoever to come through, and Sac State is coming to their own in terms of assaulting the opposition on the objective itself. Triple R will fall, but a nice hunt from Nightmare, finding 2. Goon finds another on the Rux, and everything was coming up Sac State, but now FGCU on the complete return will shock dart out the actual spike going down, and it will be finished off with a second one to come through. Spike is planted. They do get the economy boost from planting, but it's just Darian who will get in a firefight with Nightmare, who finds his 4K, and FGCU take this round to find their third.
Holy Nightmare, Batman. That was incredible. He literally just got 2 with the ultimate, the Hunter's Fury. I mean, you're lucky to get 1 with that thing, and then lining up the shock darts to take 1 out as well. Absolutely brilliant. The utility usage there from the Sova of Nightmare, really incredible, and just saves Florida Gulf Coast in that round. It looked as if it was all but over, to be honest about it. I mean, the Bladestorm didn't even get to be used because of that Hunter's Fury. Didn't even see anyone, right? That's such a big ultimate to put down without much of a problem, and I really am impressed with how they were able to pull off that victory. And so now, not the large amount of ultimates available, still some tools to work with here if you're Sacramento State, but my eyes are actually over on Triple R, who has that run it back. So look for Triple R to make an aggressive play here at some point during the round.
We have to worry about the Empress in the hands of Rux, however. Rux has had a very phenomenal game for themselves after switching off the Rays they were on previously. It seemed to have worked out for them. They're winning a lot more of these duelist engagements, but time will have to tell. There's some presence near bottom mid. You're going to see Darren dropping a smoke to cut off from that defender-sided spawn. The player in market that is Mountain is now seemingly aware of the position, but it looks like a very aggressive A push coming through that A main, and also, of course, from that A lobby. Just a couple seconds left for them to actually fully decide to engage. It looks like a lure in the hands of Rux to maybe engage going forward. 2 players inside of Garden. They're going to step in very aggressively, take site under control, and it looks like Spike will be mostly uncontested in its initial plant.
Indeed it is. This is kind of the standard fare for this map. You know, no contest over at A initially, but then the retake in, and fortunately here for the offense, there's actually no lockdown to come in, so it's all going to be off that run it back if utilized.
Recon will go out. It will be destroyed very swiftly, however. We'll get a little bit of few tags off. Nightmare holding strong. Does get the window. Triple R into the top of Rux. And now two players both situated in hell. FGCU now have a very strong chance to come through with this one. Quiz onto Mountain. Goon will not let it matter, though, as Quiz will get refragged. Psycho finds one, which is a little bit devastating to the FGCU side, and especially when Triple R only has $500 to his name at the moment. It's still fine overall, winning that one out and still maintaining control of that operator.
Yeah, but here's the thing. With Florida winning that one out, now the economy is pretty busted here for Sac State. I mean, they've got a little bit of cash, but not really enough to warrant a full investment. I mean, you can see a couple players have enough money to buy in, but, you know, most players don't. And so for that reason, you're going to have to go to the save. And I mean, two huge retakes right there. I don't want to gloss over it, right? Those retakes so important in order for this game to go where it's at right now. Now 4-2, it's kind of desperation time in this first half.
I think desperation time is probably the most accurate term I've heard all night of anything. It's going to be a really big struggle right now for Sac State to find out what they need to do. We see they initially wanted to go through B main. There seemed to be a lot of, you know, opposition presence in terms of the hold on B, so they kind of take a step back. They're still kind of favoring the pushover, but not really non-committal at the moment.
Well, but they actually baited out a lot of utility. That's the thing. And now you see the lockdown getting procced. So potentially, if they have a lockdown play, this is not horrible for Sac State.
Flash, oh my goodness, connecting with nearly everybody. As Triple R will find out Quiz. Goon with the operator into Psycho. Almost able to find a second, but Triple will find his second. Goon finding their second as well. Who will get the 3K? It won't be anyone. Mountain finds it instead, not wanting to be left out of the situation. A flawless round. Not much anticipated from the Eco, but the waste of utility at the beginning did leave you wanting more, like you had talked about. Just didn't seem to work out in Sac State's favor.
Well, and on top of that, they really were not too sure of themselves. They couldn't make a decision. I need to see faster decision making. That's what this game's about. You know, people talk about it being about aim, but it's actually about how fast can you make decisions, how fast can you decide to use utility and your individual abilities, as well as on a macro level as a team, to just make decisions on where to go, how to go, and win, right? So in that case, it was just Sacramento State really getting caught up and unsure of what to do that really bit them in the bum. They didn't have any opportunity, and now Goon swings out, double kill in, and he could find even more.
Yeah, a player that's sitting over towards that mid link. They also have a sniper in hand. Slow peeking over. This way that we have here with our terrible depth perception. Looks like there could have been something. He does fire a bolt over. This will get somewhat close. It actually does, and will tag him out, forcing them away. But I still think Goon has a better chance here with this engagement. Recon bolt placed over towards Market. Will be shot out by Psycho. He does get traded in return. Goon finding their triple. Mountain, who finds Kaizen as well. You do see that the player Triple R has fallen, but quite honestly, it's just a small deficit in the already massive boon that is this round. Rux, last player standing, does not have the Empress available and is really just trying to stay alive in this one. Full armor, 50 still available with the Vandal in pocket.
30 seconds left.
Not sure what she can do with it.
It's going to be tough, right? Like, you're going to have to try and create 1v1s, but look at how spread out the entirety of the defense is. And yeah, this is a save call for sure. Nightmare should die, so not too bad. I'm hoping that Rux doesn't see this as an opportunity to get in here. 10 seconds, maybe so. Should be able to have time to get this plant down now, and this is a little bit more doable, but with that paranoia, it's going to buy some time.
Yeah, Josh playing in from Pumpy, coming into the tree side, and we do believe the extra player of Mountain is also kind of coming in that direction. Rux could see a phenomenal chance to really clutch this one out for his team. Player does come over. They're now playing inside of Hell. Rux is holding strong, trying to peek it. It'll be Josh, however, who finds it through the wall and the headshots. A nice valid try from Rux. I honestly do wish it was a little bit of an eco for him to save it, but I think he comes out on top, getting a couple frags and the spike planted.
Well, I actually want to defend him there. I think normally I'd agree with you, but I don't think he was looking for that. But he got gifted a kill. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just walk forward a little bit, and got gifted another one off the back of a missed shot. So, all things considered, if you're given 2 free frags in a bomb site, I don't hate that you go for that. It definitely was plausible. Unfortunately, you can't be trying to jitter peek there. You have to commit to that peek or not, because that wall is very wall bangable, and you're going to lose that almost every time, especially if there's 2 players. So back on to the poor weaponry here for the attackers, and it looks like where it's been B before, this time it's going to be the A push. But I want to see where this lockdown is used, because they've been sitting on it forever at this point.
Ooh, completely decimated. 4 being found. Josh on a 2 and Nightmare to himself. And now just 1 player left, and it's going to be the Jet stepping in. Goon just gliding their way to a victory, and a flawless one at that. And not a chance for anything to go in the favor of Sac State. They will have a little bit of economy. They will buy. It'll bring them to an entirely point of being poor as all get out. But they do actually get enough to be able to force by the operator as well. They'll have to soft armor or light armor it, but they do have an operator maybe fight it out in mid.
So you're not going to use this lockdown play, which I've been waiting for. You need to stop being so one-dimensional here. Sac State are being very one-dimensional on their takes. Where's the mid presence? You have to get somebody here in mid and make this an A split instead of just a straight A take. And if you're not going to do that, you got to take advantage of getting short.
Oh my goodness, that was extremely close. Attacker Killjoy going down to, detain the opposition. A drone will come out as well. Recon bolted out. Psycho will plant, and Quiz is going to need to try and step away from the situation as their position has been guaranteed. And just missed smoke right there, but they'll find a kill regardless. Goon will fall to Quiz. And they had initially brought out the operator, but they opted instead to go with full armor and bring out the Phantom. So a little bit corrective. The caster's curse rearing its head. And speaking of rearing its head, Triple R finding Darian. Kaizen finding out Josh, but Mountain on the refract to Quiz from earlier. Finding another Nightmare onto Kaizen. Last player standing for the opposition. It's going to be Psycho, who manages to kill Triple R, but not going to matter as Mountain cleans up house. And it's going to be an 8-2 here. Phenomenal round once again from FGCU.
So I hate to say I told you so, but I did tell you so.
Totally right.
And the reason that they lost that round, Sac State, they didn't have any garden control. They need short control. That is just absolutely necessary to defend against these retakes, because otherwise you can allow for the defense to set them up perfectly. You have the lockdown, the run it back, the blade storm, everything it just set up brilliantly in order to come back in there. With the paranoia as well covering the majority of the site, it just blinds everyone up and there's no way to get back in. So Sac State, they need to take some aggressive angles, control the map a little bit better, because they're really struggling to do that.
Absolutely aggressive stance from FGCU. Goon finding out a Psycho, Mountain, and Tribble fighting with Kaizen and Rux, and immediately after Sac State struggling. Quiz will manage to get a consolation prize onto Goon. But things are not necessarily looking hot. Shots going to the backside. Position given away by the turret that's there. Darian tries to find a kill. Will eventually find it on a Nightmare, and will now try to step away, just barely missing the opportunity to be shot in the rear from Josh, who's continuing to hold inside Puppy. Teleport coming through. He's going to go back all the way to the attacker spawn. Actually, he's going to cancel at the last moment. It's a little bit of a bait and switch. But Josh is still kind of situated inside of tree, waiting for an opportunity for a player. Quiz finding Mountain, a 2v2 brought back out of nowhere. And this is a very good chance here.
It really is. That being said, look at how split these two attackers are. They need to group up, and with 35 seconds left, it's got to be fast.
Same can be said for the defense. One player in Puppy trying to get a crossfire. It could happen. Oh my goodness, Quiz with the 3K to find Triple. But the cross and the player over there will spot him out. Josh is aware of the position. Josh does not have the ability to teleport. Ult is not up. Has struggled so far to find very many kills for himself. The spike will now be planted on the B site. Josh holding inside of Market. Needs to decide how to push here.
He has the paranoia. That's the key. Look for that paranoia. Wherever it goes, that could be the fight winner here.
From this angle, he could actually have connected too. I think he still can. He can get a little bit of idea about the position, about the players where they are. Gonna whip it out. He does throw it. He goes to the backside of Boathouse. They were sitting in corner to his side. However, catches one. Second, he sees, but he turns away, and Darian will find it. Sac State take their third defensive round, sorry, attacking round. But it is going to be the last round before the switch now. Can Sac State be able to find another one and make it an 8-4, or will it inevitably fall to the 9-3 scoreline?
Honestly, I'm not sure that it matters. You're laughing all the way to the bank as, well, Nightmare just hanging out over here today and fortunate to get by that utility when he did. Now gives away the positioning, and it's a matter of time.
So many positions given away. Nightmare trying his best, but can't do it. Rux will find the third kill. Flawless victory for Sac State, which is a pretty big thing for them, all things considering. Apparently, we've had an issue here. Our observer has blue screened.
Oh, no.
Which is also our production. Which is also everything in between. Oh, I absolutely noticed because they missed the play that I wanted up there of the 3K to finish that one off for the Omen in combination. They missed that. Stream doesn't see that.
Are we back, by the way? All right.
I'm still upset.
Cool. Apologies for the difficulties, but, you know, blue screens, Windows, it's happened. And it does happen, but purchase in. This is the bonus round here for the side of Sac State, but I mean, can they afford this? Can they afford to give up rounds?
FGCU coming strong. Kaizen Rux will fall. Psycho in a refrag, but he'll fall as well to Josh in a 4v2 underway. Not looking hot for Quiz and, of course, for Darian, who are coming from the defensive side spawn. Hopefully he can find something with the Marshall in hand, but he sure as heck isn't going to find anything with that shorty. FGCU are looking to make this their 10th round win. Player in market. Two seemingly near Boathouse, one hanging in the pocket corner of the objective. And one's also behind the brick surface of the objective as well. They're going to throw some smoke screens down. Player is going to be close as well. Catching off guard. Darian with a turn to find him. Triple R will fall, and it's going to be a 3v2 that much closer. And the defensive players that are trying to plant against this, well, should I say attack, the players defending the plant are looking worse for wear. Stepping through, he'll find one, but it's not going to matter. Thank goodness Mountain, not spotted out, will find the kill to refrag out the opposition. Exceedingly close round. Sac State not wanting to give that one away.
Not wanting to, but they certainly did. Very unfortunate for them as well. You know, I asked the question there at the beginning of that round. You know, can Sac State afford this? Can they afford to play with a bonus round? And I think the answer is no, they really can't. And the fact they didn't win it out is a bit of a problem for them. Granted, the fact that barely anybody survived, in fact, only Mountain surviving, it looks like it's going to be a save. I mean, I would have bought back in here, but clearly it's going to be, you know, a more, I will say a more conservative decision from FGCU. They're saying, hey, we got the rounds. Let's just save and get the guns out because we're better with guns.
Vulnerability now for Triple R. He's going to have to step back on this little bit of the courtyard section for that cross towards Cubby, but looks like they're trying to decide what to go for it. A is not obviously the choice. They have most of their team in B main, and now finally you're going to have Triple R also making the crossover. Mountain is the only player with arguably a real weapon, right? The Phantom in hand. It evens out their economy across the board to make it a little bit more fair, but relying on Mountain to have that weapon and really pop off with it, it's going to be very difficult, especially when you've got three players defending that B site pretty stably in market, defender spawn, and of course behind switch.
Well, and we missed it, I think, a little bit, but Psycho had a great bolt to show the positioning, and so they saw everybody over here, so that's why this rotation has come out so quickly for the side of FGCU.
Turn placed on. Mountain's going to go ahead and drop the nade as well. Recon Bolt will give away position. Multiple on site. Will fall, however, to Kaizen Strife. Nightmare still holding strong. Allure will cut off eyes, but nothing too beyond that point. Recon Bolt going through. Maybe to catch sightlines. Can't get the kill, however, but Triple R will before falling to Darian. And now Kaizen onto Josh. Last player standing of Goon. We'll have to see what they're capable of, and it's not going to be anything. Goon will fall to Quiz on that operator battle, and FGCU will lose this round. It'll go to 10-6.
Round by round, they're clawing things back here are Sacramento. It's just a matter of time. That being said, now this round, so impactful. The gun round coming through here for FGCU. They're going to have all the rifles, everything that they would want. And to be fair, Quiz with an operator in hand is certainly could be the difference maker. And Quiz is currently looking over towards A and maybe looking to get aggressive. I would really love to see that come out, because that's exactly the kind of thing that you need to see defensively to create space for you.
Wall cut off, maybe to try and guarantee the ult orb. Shot will miss from the opposition with the operator in hand. That'll be Quiz. They have taken control of mid, however, which puts them in a very positive position to kind of act upon the aggressive stance through market, and of course probably acting towards B. Switch will be pressed, however, which may guarantee a little bit less of control towards the push around. Rux onto Mountain as well. FGCU a man down, and are going to struggle to go forward. Position revealed, going for the Hunter's Fury. Will tag one of the Rux, and I believe actually does tag a player in the backside of their spawn as well, but it's not going to guarantee any kills for them.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, like, you have a man disadvantage now, and you can utilize this perfectly to get into the site.
Rux will find Josh, but Goon will take out Rux in return. Darian stepping through will fall. Triple R as well coming through onto Psycho. And now it's a 3v2, and Quiz with the operator will need to find some success coming from the defender spawn. Tries to shoot, narrowly escaping their life as Goon, who somehow doesn't get killed against that battle. Rush coming through. Kaizen will actually find Goon in the process. Operator stepping down main stairs. Shots connect, operator player down, but Kaizen will find Triple R. A one-on-one as Kaizen has to fight the player of Nightmare, but it'll be Kaizen who finds it. The 3K to guarantee it. Round over. Sac State still coming into their own. They're getting closer and closer to tying this one up.
They truly are. I mean, that also, like, let's just say, Kaizen, the ability to just say, oh, yeah, 5 bullets in the chamber, it's fine. I don't reload. We're fine. I'm just going to hit the headshot. Great job. Great confidence. It really shows that Sac State don't see themselves as out of this yet. They see themselves as very much in this game, and they certainly are. 3 rounds now between these two sides. A reinvestment, of course, for the defense, but back to the save. And I mean, I'm feeling exactly like I did, you know, on the FGCU attack, right? It's, you know, around here, around there, but nothing really consistent, and consistently having to go for the ecos here have been Sacramento, or have been FGCU here in their attacking half.
It's definitely been a struggle. They've already lost Mountain in that operator battle, and Quiz will secure that. It will need to be a heal coming from Triple R, so he'll draw his firebomb onto the ground to bring himself back up to 100 HP. They need to find this round win. The defensive killjoy will come through. Josh kind of situated a little bit towards A main. Not going to matter. Kaizen finding 2 and Quiz finding 1. Not a good situation. Josh is the last player standing, will not be detained. Player in wine. He'll win that fight against Kaizen, but Quiz is defusing. No time to step forward, and it doesn't even matter. Rux will guarantee the kill. We could see a comeback story here.
I mean, I think we've already seen a comeback story, and we're just continuing it. 8-10 now. Scoreline very much evened up. There's really not a lot between these two sides, and perfect utilization, I think, of that utility on the retake. It makes it very difficult to do much of anything if you're FGCU, and now FGCU are back to the weapon buy, but again, it's not been perfect. It's not been ideal for them. A couple of big round victories. We saw, of course, Kaizen with a huge win. You know, in the 1v2 certainly helps things out a lot, but you know, beyond that, it's been a lot of Sac State making good plays.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things we're definitely noticing here is the fact that FGCU is kind of bringing themselves into a rut in terms of economy. It was the complete opposite we had seen before. Sac State was the ones that were getting completely outgunned and outmanned, and FGCU did a phenomenal job of guaranteeing that. But complete polar opposite here. FGCU has not been able to get themselves an operator, has not been able to win the fights where they happen, and hopefully Goon on this aggressive swing might be able to. He'll step forward, not even able to find one as Psycho will take it. The Flash, however, may be able to help themselves out. Another rush towards the A site. We do have the player up top, Quiz. He'll find Triple R. Hunter's Fury will come out as well. And it actually will not manage to kill or tag Nightmare at all. Kaizen holding up on the Raptors side. Mountain playing from behind, trying to catch the opposition if they go for the flank, but it doesn't seem like they will. Nightmare onto two, another Rux and Psycho falling to Darian, but Josh finding Kaizen. One player remaining of the opposition, that's gonna be Darian, and it's a hard-fought battle. Fight going the other way, and Josh finds it for the 3K. FGCU back in this one.
Man, that lockdown, though, that's an expensive ult to be throwing away there. Like, I get that it kind of does ensure the round victory for you if you're FGCU, but you didn't need it. You could have just double swung, right? I think that you would have been better served to hang on to that one. But nonetheless, still a nice round. And now we're at the penultimate round of the match, potentially, as it's 11 for FGCU. All they need is 2 more to close this out in 2 maps. Otherwise, Sacramento State looking to push us to a map 3. Truly a back and forth matchup, though, here on Ascent. Not something we were seeing or even expecting after what was a dominant bind showing.
Nightmare dropping the Hunter's Fury, tagging the Psycho from the opposite side, not managing to find any kill with it, however. I think he did actually almost hurt his teammate in the process. Flash coming out from outside the smoke, able to go in and clear side a little bit more to step inside. Nightmare looking for the chance to plant Spike. Quiz still holding Raptors, but Kaizen's gonna hold nothing any longer as Mountain finds the kill. Door has been shut. Raptors still being held by Sacramento State, but Darian finding Mountain will tie it back up to a 4v4 engagement. Recon Bolt will be shot out. Lore being shot at as well. It's going to be a drop down. He's not paying attention. Rux finds to kill the Nightmare. And one on a Goon. Darian and Quiz will clean it up as well. Triple R and Josh not standing a chance. And it's going to be an 11-9 scoreline. Sac State coming back, and they're coming back with a vengeance.
Man, I blinked and I missed that retake so fast. All of those kills, one by one. Everybody getting in on the action as well, making it a pretty dominant look as, I mean, Sac State, they are really stepping up big time, really making these adjustments, and now it's kind of back to the drawing board. I want to see FGCU do something different here. They've kind of been hitting A, hitting B, but not really hitting mid. I want to see them take some mid control and do something with it. You know, split from there over towards A, you know, do a split towards B, or even just hold mid control and then go hit a site one way or another. It's just something that we haven't seen all that often. And, well, maybe they are listening to our communication, because it looks like that's exactly what they're going to be doing.
Quiz will find Triple R before falling to Goon with the Blade Storm, and now Goon is going to be on the prowl looking for more. B-side push effectively coming through. The flank will come through from the defender spawn, and Kaizen could be close to getting caught off guard, but it'll be Darren who finds 2, denying as Josh and Nightmare will fall. Mountain finds Kaizen, denying that player towards the defender spawn in this doorway. But will it be enough? Plays through updraft, not mattering, missing the right click, shaking his head, knows there's no chance. And now a 1v2 Mountain. Only player standing for the FGCU side, with the operator in hand, does have a chance to try and win engagements, but one player seemingly coming through market, one coming through that B main side. It'd be hard to win these fights.
Yeah, but the operator is so good at creating 1v1 duels. Does the Aldrone spot him? That's going to be the crux of the matter.
Completely spotted out. Recon Bolt coming through and just absolutely denied. A Psycho just cleans up with the bolts. Nothing they can do about it. 11-10 now. Sacramento State, 1 round away from tying this up, 2 rounds away from bringing it to match point. And FGCU, they're barely going to have to have enough money to buy, and if they lose this one, their economy is going to be even worse to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, with that save last round, they have cash to buy in here, but it isn't ideal. I mean, a Bulldog pulled out here for Nightmare, not something that you would see a healthy economy doing. Granted, the Bulldog's, you know, not a bad gun. It just isn't a Vandal or a Phantom. And, you know, on top of that, no operator to speak of. So things are a bit tight here for the FGCU side, and they're looking to go back to Old Faithful. And well, Old Faithful isn't there because Quiz is ready and waiting for Goon and puts him down with ease.
Bad situation for FGCU. They desperately needed to take the man advantage, and they've lost it effectively with Goon falling quite swiftly. We had talked about it before, the economy being in shambles for Sac State. They could not manage to keep it into this one. Push now coming through. Kaizen finding Mountain, flashed out. Triple finds Darian, is not able to get off Rux. Just missing the shots in hand, and it's going to be hard now. Two players, both, they're inside of each other. The minimap, both are hanging out inside of this A lobby now as they're trying to find a rotation away. I'm not sure what they're going to try and do here. It's just not looking hot for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good-looking idea strategy-wise from FGCU, but they couldn't really commit it because they died before the strategy could even start to be utilized, right? And well, Kaizen with another frag makes this all the more unwinnable for Nightmare, who's in the 1-on-4 scenario. Bladestorm is well popped by Quiz, who's sitting in the corner. So I think really only a matter of time here, as Nightmare does find one. So hey, a frag for the road certainly ain't bad, but still, it is going to be the save, or at least the attempt at a save, as he might not even get out of here alive.
Difficult situation. Time is, of course, not on your side. Nightmare is not going to make the comeback into this one, and from the looks of it, they're not going to look to push him either. They really don't care enough to guarantee that kill or to lose their own. They've now tied it up, and they've really been wanting to guarantee themselves a chance to make it back into it. If you now take a look over at the FGCU side, they have enough to buy. They have had to have a Guardian for one of the players. He's actually going to switch it over. He's going to buy a Vandal for his teammate and then buy himself a Phantom. So a light armor for Goon, but a near perfect buy. No operator in hand, however. They need to actually successfully engage in these objectives. It just hasn't worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time at which, I mean, if you want to close this into FGCU, you got to do it now. There's just no choice about it. And, I mean, the money is very good for Sac State. So even if FGCU win this one, they're gonna have Sac State, I mean, is gonna have another buy after that.
Teleport coming through. Darren's going to step back away towards the actual defender spawn. The killjoy for the attacking side did manage to detain one player. And FGCU have the plant going down. They actually have a good situation to play against this retake, but now your killjoy is kind of getting pocketed in the corner. Will actually not get damaged at all. Mountain finding Rux. Triple R finds Psycho. And now you've got a two-man advantage, but the operator player of Quiz is still alive. Like we've talked about, the operator exceeds in making these one-on-one engagements. It's not what you want to face off against. Player in market, Goon finding the shot to Darian, but Kaizen refragging, and now a 4v2 through the wall. Nightmare finds Kaizen, and Quiz, last player standing, just deciding to take a step back, wants none of it, just wants to save the operator. And it looks like FGCU is aware of that as well. They're going to go ahead, make it all the way back through that B main, heading all the way to the lobby and the attacker spawn. And this is a guaranteed round win for FGCU to make it into match point.
It indeed is, picking up a round where it was absolutely necessary there. FGCU, it's gotten awful close, but now at least one match point available here for them to close it in 2. But man, I mean, one round away, this could be going to overtime just as easily. And honestly, it was off the back of the tried and true, the lockdown play, something we've seen time and time again, and able to get frags off the back of that were FGCU. So now they're in a good spot, but they've got to do it one more time to close it out this time. And look at Kaizen. This time he has that lockdown on the defensive side as well. By the way, Psycho and Darian both won away from picking up an ultimate. So be on the lookout for those two as well.
Very devastating. You do have 3 ults now available for the FGCU side. You could run it back, maybe rush through mid, kind of play that situation. You could teleport around, maybe if the engagement comes into play and play for the retake, or deny the retake on the A objective, maybe fake the site. It looks to be a pretty substantial chance of taking B if they can get on and actually find picks, but quite frankly, actually, yeah, we do see the fact that the Reyna player has made the rotation over towards the A side. They're going to have to swiftly make their way back. But it looks to be a very heavy push coming from this B side, and I'm not sure if Sacramento State has the ability to deny this if the run it back does come to fruition. Triple R needs to engage with it because if he dies without using that, it's an entire waste.
Yeah, you nailed it. You need to see this come out, and there it is.
Comes through, does tag a little bit of the player inside, does find the kill as Mountain on a Kaizen, and they're going to completely keep swinging. Triple R running at a time when the run it back does know at least that players were somewhere nearby, has a safety net to cross. Ooh, I do see the player does get spotted out. That's going to be your Jet player. The call-in has been made, but Quiz will find Triple R before it even matters. Darian finds Mountain, and now a player disadvantaged. Player from behind, however, he'll miss his shot. Player coming in, he denies it. Psycho, however, finds Josh, and now it is 1v3 since Psycho takes Nightmare, and it's not going to matter. Tying it up at 12-12. Sacramento State on a massive comeback here, and we're going overtime.
Overtime is in, and yeah, I mean, what an incredible comeback. 9-3, the half, and we're all the way back. What a great job from Sacramento State. They make the adjustments. They do everything necessary, and they finally put themselves over the edge. I thought it was all over. We saw, remember, the Hunter's Fury answer that lockdown and deny it. Perfectly played there by the attackers, but it didn't matter. You know, still able to find those frags, and honestly, it was a little confusing how they found them, but hit the shots, and that's all that matters. You know, you said it is, at the end of the day, a point-and-click adventure, and well, if you point and click at the head, you know, you tend to win pretty darn often. And that's exactly what we saw coming through from Sacramento State there on the defense. Now, this has been swapped over. Sac State on the offense, and FGCU will defend once more.
Going to be an interesting decision about how they want to actually take this. Very wide variation of where they're holding from the Sacramento State side. They're not committing in any direction. Darian seems to have somewhat of a control of this bottom mid because he's guaranteed control from that top mid and guaranteed no players sitting inside of Cubby. Looks like they're going to opt to go towards A, as we do see that Jet player making it over with the support from the Reyna to try and opt to go into the A site. However, smokes will come off. That's going to cut off the slant line between Garden and Tree. They're stepping in now, but Josh is nearby to maybe get a kill as well. Sees the player. Quiz missing a little bit with the dash. He opted not to shoot. I don't think Josh is completely aware. Maybe he's waiting for a little bit more audio cues and if there's an extra player coming in behind, which is a smart decision because Mountain is coming as well, sitting inside Tree themselves. This could be fairly large for them.
Yeah, but this retake, I mean, 5v5 and now 5v4 with Josh finding that. And these tags are so brutal. Look at those kills through the wall.
Nightmare is able to connect onto Psycho, like you said, through that. It's not going to matter, though. Refrag now. Rux will be able to find Triple R, but Nightmare's there instead. Nightmare knows the players below, and hell, Spike will be tagged, but Mountain will secure it, and it will be defused. So we do see FGCU take a round lead here in the overtime. Can we see them do it on the attack, which they have failed to do so far?
It's going to be difficult, but I mean, here it is. It's the opportunity to do just that, and another match point available. We saw this once, and it didn't work out in their favor, FGCU. And that time, they had 3 ultimates to work with. This time, nothing of the sorts, and they've got to attempt to get onto the site and make a play. I want to see something different. I mean, I keep saying it again and again, but where's the mid usage here for FGCU on their attacker side? They're so one-dimensional when it comes to where they're pushing. It's just everybody's pushing the same positions, and it's very easy to read, and that's what I'm worried about.
It's going to be very difficult as well to really get anything going for them. It looks like they're going to opt to go for a pretty aggressive A push. Going to line up the shot here, maybe. Shots will go through the smoke, but 3 players kind of situated closer to B. You do see that they're making their way back as well. Push coming through. They now opt to go onto it. Psycho finding 2, denying FGCU, but Josh is there to find Psycho. Still a man disadvantage here, and Mountain is slow on the prowl to make the return. 1 player in Cubby. Rux finding out Goon on the objective itself. 2-player disadvantage now. And Darian will find Mountain on the prowl, who just waits it out, does not care. Josh, 1, not a second. And Rux will find it for their second. Defenders will take that one. We're going to have to see how FGCU, if they can do it once again, as they're going to head right back to the defense.
And that's the way overtime goes, man. you swing back and forth. It's just a pendulum, and unfortunately for FGCU, they are not able to close it out in that first overtime period. So we're going into a second, and well, you know, where can Sac State get a break? You know, can they break into these defensive rounds? Because I have a feeling if that happens, then we're seeing a map 3.
Oh, Goon finding immediately exactly what they needed, taking the man advantage pretty swiftly. Now you've got players that are kind of trying to decide what they need to do themselves. Peeking around, you have the advantage. You've kind of guaranteed that for you. But like we've said before, Sac State has done a phenomenal job of taking that mid control. And now you're going to have to worry about Quiz, who is watching that from the link. Sitting now inside Pocket Link. They are aware of that. Could be a nade that gets tossed here. You do have the ability of that, but Quiz will escape by drafting themselves away.
I mean, look, the aggression here from the defense is so phenomenal. I really love this. Sac State are just, they're forced into these horrible positions. I mean, Mountain now is going to have to contend with some pushes, but still, they know that no one is B. They can only come through mid.
Lear will go off. Ruck's in a pretty dangerous situation here as he steps inside of tree. One player seemingly near window. That's Nightmare, but they do seemingly have control of A. Lear in hell. They need to decide when to plant. Rux finds out Josh. It will go onto side. Darian extremely low now, but he does escape with his life. Quiz onto Triple R, but Mountain will take the refrag. A 3v3. Goon onto Darian to finish that one off. Goon from behind as well will fall to Rux. Close engagements. Emperor's just one charge away. Mountain trying to decide where to go from. Nightmare up on top of Raptors. Will drop down. The Revi Bolt will be destroyed quite swiftly, but the idea is still there. Most likely inside of Hell. Going to the floor. Rux finds it. And now a 1v2. Goes for it and can't do it. We're going into a map 3. Sacramento State comeback of this map. Oh, wait, no, we're not. Am I dumb?
Yeah, a little bit.
Thank God. All right. FTCU. Come on.
To be fair, that was an attacker round victory coming out from Sac State. What was that?
Is it infinite overtime for Valorant?
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no ties in Valorant. But yeah, so here's the thing. That was a round victory though on the attack for Sac State. Something that we have yet to see. Really, that was their 9-3 setup. So now FGCU have to do it on their worst side. And here they go, pushes out onto B.
They're going to go in very aggressively. They have managed to tag the opposition up a little bit. Mountain finding Psycho before being refragged by Quiz. Players trying to step through. One in market will fall, but Quiz once again finding Goon. Nightmare finally shuts down Quiz. Josh. He's now the last man standing. Spike has been dropped. It is a one-on-one situation. Josh has to win this against Kaizen if he wants any chance to continue. Will win the fight. Josh finds it. And they do win on their arguably worst side, I believe, correct? I mean, they've been struck.
Yeah, I mean, they won, what was it? 2 rounds on their entirety of their attack side. I mean, or rather 3, I apologize. Because, you know, 12-12, that's how math works. I'm good at math, don't worry, guys. Don't do math on broadcast. It's never a good idea. And anyway, nonetheless, 14-14, we're going, this is triple overtime if you're counting over at home. And, well, the push, it seems as if we're going to repeat this over towards B once more. This time, though, on the attack is Sacramento State.
They're going to do the exact same thing with that aggressive stance. Stairs will be essentially just cleared out, and we're going to have to see if FGCU can kind of make the return. Mountain spraying through the smoke. Triple R stuck in objective. Will tag Rux, but not able to clean the kill. Rux is able to heal themselves because they are Reyna. Will be played to the backside. Psycho will stop off the plant. Will opt to start it again. Nightmare can't really do anything about that now as it was not available yet. Will now drop it in. Kaizen finding Goon, but Goon had found Darian before it was over. Shots through the wall. Not looking good. He finds, oh my goodness, Nightmare and Mountain finding 2. And now it is a 3v2. Good chance for them to come through and back into this one. Now Mountain finding Psycho. Quiz inside a boat. And no, Quiz on the chance for it. A 1v1. Not a good situation to drop in. Doesn't have a chance. Will tap. Player updrafts up into the air. Wins the fight. Nightmare takes that one. And will start the defuse for the FGCU side.
FGCU back to winning ways here defensively. They have been good on this side, and they continue it now. And, well, I mean, what a big win from Nightmare, picking that up. And, geez, this game just going the distance here on map number 2. Now, again, a match point available for FGCU. Can they finally close this out? This will be the 3rd or 4th match point that they've had. But, I mean, it's... They haven't been able to close it out, and here we go once more. Rux has been popping off. Look at that, 29 and 18 at the moment. What an incredible step up it's been from Rux on this arena. Can he do it one more time here defensively to bring us to yet another overtime period?
Ooh, it does go. Mountain finding one, but Rux on a double spray, double headshot, denying Mountain and Josh a player disadvantage. They desperately need to win this round if we don't want to see another overtime have to come through. Nightmare does spot out the player, has the positional awareness of that, can attempt to go for a bounce, does not connect, slightly off in this situation, but a valid attempt nonetheless.
Well, okay, so player disadvantage, you have to come up with something spicy. Oh, and that's huge. They know where he's at now. That's just a matter of time. Kaizen could fall here, and this is the entirety of the defense at this point is all on to Kaizen.
Kaizen kind of stuck, trapped here. Psycho's going to come to try and assist, but they are both flash. Triple R finding. He's going to fall as well. Psycho down a 3v2 as we see FGCU take the advantage here. They're going to attempt to step up. Rux and Darian, they're the last 2 standing. Rux is near the Empress, needs to find one to be able to activate it. Could be the game changer for their side. Door shut for Switch on the A objective. 2 players both inside of Raptors. They will throw a smoke to deny near wine, so you can't hold in that direction. It does keep Nightmare away from the situation. They are blinded. Triple finding it. Darian finding Goon, but a 1-on-1 now as Darian will guarantee triple. And now the player beneath Arch. Recon bolted out. Position given away. Nightmare finds it. And attackers take it all. FGCU denying that overtime comeback. Any comeback. All the way to the end. Ascent goes the long distance, and FGCU will take it in the end.
16-14, the total score there at the very end. Absolutely incredible. Going a full 30 rounds, and man, I mean, props to Sacramento State. They stayed in it. They played incredibly. And by the way, Rux sitting up at the very top of the leaderboard, highest average combat score, 31 and 19, highest score in the game. Absolutely incredible play from Rux there in map number 2. You really love to see it.
Absolutely. What a great game overall, but we do have another game coming at you exceedingly quickly, as it will be the last match of the day for NECC today. My name has been Infernosis, joined here by Vincent. How you doing today? I'm assuming very tired now because we've just had a very long second map there, but we will see you guys in the next map, or at least I will. Vincent will be bearing us farewell here, but I'll see you guys in the next one, and we'll catch you guys in just a few short moments.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
side on the fence, but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Insanity laughs under pressure, we're breaking. Can we give ourselves one more chance? Why can't we give love that one more chance? Why can't we give love, give love, give love, give love, give love, give love, give love? 'Cause a gentle fashion bright and love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the night, and love dares you to change our way of caring about ourselves. This is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves. Under pressure. Under pressure. Pressure.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Welcome back, everybody, to NECC. My name's Infernosis, and we've got ourselves a pretty late game, joined here by Jim. How you doing today?
Not bad. Scott, how's it going with you?
Pretty late. Been doing this for my third game in a row now. The bit of discrepancy in the last game about unlimited overtime, which is a new thing to me and seems exceedingly stupid, but we'll figure something out along the way. I'll eventually learn. But
You just got to win by 2, Scott. You just got to win by 2. You got to keep it going. Got to win by 2.
why don't you just play 3 and then just win by 2?
Ah, man, got to win by 2. It's like volleyball. It's like a lot of different sports. Got to win by 2.
Well, thank God I didn't play those sports. But we're going in. We're going to be Marymount, California's secondary squad versus Upper Iowa, and we're going to have to see how this one pans out. Upper Iowa is coming into this one. Not the term isn't undefeated, but more like defeated. Just they have no win for them so far.
That is true. They are 0-4 coming into this one. So not looking great for Upper Iowa this year so far. Their team had a bunch of new players, I've been told. So just still trying to pick everything up. But going up against Marymount, California, Team 2, they're, just doing really well this year. Just stepping on people pretty much is what it looks like.
Their only loss is against Northern Alabama, which is talking to my university. But, I didn't watch that. Didn't care. So I'll have to go back and watch that VOD to see what the difference here is, since I plan to cast for these teams multiple times. So I kind of want a little bit know and want to go back and watch them through. But first map will be Bind, and we're going to have to see which or what agent lineup we're going to see. I don't predict an Astra. They were allowed officially today in all the games I've casted for and watched. We've only seen one Astra. That was in game 1, and the team that played her went 26-1 across 2 maps.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. The thing I'm looking at here,
they were the one.
well, then it's bad. The way you said it, you said 26-1. Usually, the one.
I apologize. Yes, my bad. They went 1-26. So we'll go with that.
Not good, Scott.
Not good.
What I'm looking at here that might come into play, especially if this goes to a third map, is the time disparity between these two schools. In the central time zone where Upper Iowa is located, it's just about 11 o'clock. Marymount, California, being on the West Coast, it's only 9 o'clock there. So hopefully this is a short one, because if it goes to map 3, it might definitely favor Marymount, California. As it goes, though, I'm thinking Marymount probably going to have a pretty good night tonight.
You predict that they'll win this one out. Now, Bind is a pretty old style map. You said that you had someone told you that the Upper Iowa squad is fairly young in terms of their years of playtime maybe on Valorant. So maybe not very many players that played in the initial stages, maybe the beta of Valorant, so they haven't had much time specifically on this map. But I am saying...
Yeah, not a lot of beta players on the Upper Iowa team, that I can tell you. But they're going to see what they can do. They haven't given up all year. No quit in that team. And they know they just got to get better. And, their coach is really working to get some Valorant specific recruits for the fall. And, hopefully we'll see better things out of the Upper Iowa team in the fall. But at the moment, they're just doing what they can with what they've got.
Yeah, I am noticing it's mostly freshmen and sophomore for the Upper Iowa side, so a lot of wiggle room for the period of time in which they are at university, right, in college, so they can progress as they go along. But looking more into the round itself right now, we are noticing it seems to be a pretty A-centralized push. 2 players coming through showers, now 2 players seeming to come through the actual A short, as Drift will find one, Clarence will find out into M2v1, but Yuxin will not be outdone. They will take out Massacre, and Yuxin will take out another onto Krupster. Not looking so good already. Upper Iowa struggling here. 2 players left in a 4v2. And it's looking like Yuxin has already found 2 for themselves, is trying to look for another one.
That was a great nade that took out Massacre there in the back. Great bounce off the wall there. Never saw it coming.
Just the flank nade. Yuxin, nasty shot at a Clarence. Nothing that could happen there. Yuxin may go for the 4K because Air Anderson is looking to go there. Does get the tag onto Yuxin. He will take a step back. Having to run over, will grab a spike, will try to run away from it. Air Anderson now needs to decide to make the rotate. If they do rotate to B, there is a player, which is Fonzie. Currently sitting now into the backside of that B hall. Be a difficult
they have
rotate.
the turret up. They have the turret up for vision. They have a lot of vision, actually.
There's just so much utility for those styles of agents. Oh, nothing to do. The nano nades placed on the ground, walking right into it. Nothing to do about that one. Great. See, this is why things like ciphers or killjoys can solo hold objectives, because of the utility they have. That's so much to slow down and just determine the pacing and sightlines, information, intel. It's the name of the game when it comes to being able to do that, and they're really the only ones you'll see that can do that. And we saw exactly that on that B-side hold.
I think it was a good play, though, to go over to the B side, though, knowing that A side had extra people, extra agents over there. I think it was a good move to try.
Oh, right decision, yeah.
Yeah, it just ran into all of the utility. Absolutely all of it.
Yeah, there's nothing really to do in that situation. Maybe if you go B long, but at the same time, you do have to step eventually across that, and it could tag you. And Aaron Anderson had no armor. Did stun at 98 HP, but more than likely would not survive those nano nades. But seems to be a very strong hold from Merrimack, California on this hold for the B side. They've got 4 players situated over there, and they're really going to try to lay waste. Clarence trying to get a shot, but it'll be UC finds, and instead Lila will get onto Massacre. Sorry, Leela will get onto Massacre, and a 5v3 is underway.
Unfortunate there, because Massacre actually looked like he had the drop on her, and just unable to just get the shot.
They've taken Telly, 1 player behind, and Lawrence is actually going to win that fight. And M2v1 will fall. We had our producer scream, apparently. We're not sure what that was about, but nonetheless, engaging on. Clarence will find onto Ucine in a 3v2. Leela's behind in showers. Crupster is holding strong on the objective itself. Bolt will come through. Recon Bolt denied. Fonzie finds Clarence, and Leela will find Crupster. And another Merrimack, California win.
Hey, Upright, though, like we were talking about, no quit in that team, got the plant down, turned around, tried to hold against the retake. I mean, if you know you're not as good of a team, that's what you've got to do. You've got to do as much as you can and just hope that you could pull something out.
And exactly. I think in the current situation, the economy isn't exactly super hot for the Upper Iowa side. They will soft buy with this eco round and really go with these Spectres. 1 player, that's going to be Clarence, who's going to go for the Bulldog. No, they're going to switch off. They're actually going to switch up and pick up an LMG instead. An interesting decision. Maybe it'll be what they need, but it does look to be another A push, this time coming from that lower side near that A spawn. And of course, they're also coming from that split middle. Clarence through the smokes will find Ucine. That's a devastating player to remove at the very beginning. Exactly what you want in that situation, but Leela is coming on the flank. This could be pretty bad if they do come into the backside. But they need to push in quickly. Leela very close in. Ult does get dropped. Leela has in sightline. Sushi Rice trying to find it out, but it'll be M2 who finds it instead. Massacre will fall. Tied back up in a 4v4. Aaron Anderson is trying to make the rotation as well. 1 player in the backside. That's going to be your Crupster, who's rotating through Cave. Maybe trying to catch Leela off guard as well. Updraft up to the top. Will not hit enough of those daggers, but will be refragged by Sushi.
Oh, man, just right idea. Just didn't quite have what they needed to pull it off. But the right idea, though.
Still holding strong at 3v3. Our producer is still doing something. He's finally muted himself, so we don't hear whatever the heck's
his
going
mind in the background behind us.
Do you stub his toe and then just completely forgot what a toe is? Like, I'm not really sure.
I don't know. I don't know exactly. The slow push back around to B's side here, though. Let's see if it works out for him.
They've kind of put themselves in a weird situation. Sushi Red opting to go for the boost pack. Doesn't go far enough. Goes a little too high. It'll be Pro that finds 2 onto Sushi and Crupster, but Fonzie will find the last, and it was a 3v3, but you didn't need that extra 3, a 3v2 on site, and the 2 win it.
And just Marymount doing everything right in these early rounds. Their rotations are there. I'm assuming their callouts are good because every time something happens, you see people reacting. So you got to assume if you're looking at the mini map that we can see, and we can see everything, as soon as something happens, every member of Marymount moves. So you just have to assume their callouts are perfect.
And callouts are perfect despite 2 of them having never used Discord before.
That is what we were told. The producer told us earlier tonight that 2 members of Marymount had never before used Discord. I don't know if I quite believe that one, but if it's true, then that makes it even better that their callouts are that good.
It's impressive. Without a doubt, that's impressive of that nature. But Clarence using all 3 of the jet smokes to try and take control of that section of this B short. Trying to get inside of Hookah. They do successfully do that and already take a look at the top of the mini-map there. Marymount, California 2 aggressively making the rotation around. The only person who hasn't is that Reina player who is just kind of waiting and biding their time. M2, a Hunter will come through. Leela finding Massacre, and it's a Massacre in Hookah. It is going to be a difficult one to go through. It will be a bolt to come to the backside. Does not connect to any, but players in Upper Iowa are looking worse for wear. 2 of them, or sorry, 1 of them is looking quite damaged and will fall to M2 on the flank.
Just once again, just talking about, you know, they knew where Upper Iowa was. They had all of the abilities they needed, and you know, just showing the skills that they have in this game right there. You could see there wasn't really anything Upper Iowa could do in that situation. They were all grouped up, and one ability took out multiple people.
Nothing you can really do about that, but a 4-0 at the beginning, and if you take a look at the Upper Iowa economy here, they do have enough to semi-buy. They are going to have 3 of their players who can't full buy those assault rifles, but they seem to really like these LMGs. They have brought these out multiple times. It has actually found them a kill before as well onto Usain, who was their top player in the initial first few rounds. Has since fallen a little bit to the lower half of the Marymount, California side, but nonetheless still showing some fairly nice progress. They really favor this B side in this push. They want to gain full control of Hookah for that side advantage.
You know, something I've noticed is that they're moving as a 5-man the majority of the time here. So, do you think for a weaker team that that's a good move or no?
I think it's a good question, actually. Leela finding 2 and Clarence finding Leela on the refrag. It's a good question, and I kind of want to digest that. For normal strategy, you will usually see like a 3-2 kind of split in terms of taking a site. You usually are 5-manning it in a single direction to decide where to go to. Unless you're on the defense, in which case you do have that 1 player roaming, and we do see that for the Marymount, California side. That's M2 once again sitting all the way back inside of that A lobby. But pushing as an attacking side for an all 5-man engagement isn't very strong unless you're doing a rush. If you're playing pure aggressive rushing side, that's totally fine, unless they have a very high AoE damaging agent on their side. So maybe these cyber grenades that are being, or the nano nades on the B site aren't where you want to do a 5-stack jumping out a window, because you know those are placed there. You know they prefer to put them in that spot. You're all going to funnel into that, and you're going to be forced to either wait it out and let the person who jumped in before you die, or all die to the nano nade. It's not what you want to see. Maybe you know that window's taken, play 3 on long and then 2 in window and try to go from there.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I like the way they're trying to use all their abilities together, though. But I think you're right that they are going to have to, you know, figure out a way to at least come from 2 different angles, maybe a little bit more, even on the same site.
You gotta have variation. Speaking of variation, M2 trying to stay alive, panicking, still managing to live, however. Shockingly enough, but frags going both directions. Aronson finding Usain, but Leela will find Clarence. And it's going to be a 3v3. Shotbolt will come through. We'll tag. One, no! Ammo and gun. Leela will fall to Krupster. And M2 finds their triple kill. Nobody's really stepped to that A site recently, so we haven't seen very much of M2, but now we are. 3 kills in this round alone. And they only had 3 previously before this. Now they're trying to hold out. They're in a pretty good situation. M2's very low, but Aaron Anderson's not hitting the shots, and M2 is a 4K for him onto Krupster. And Fonzie in the back of Aaron Anderson will guarantee that round for a 6-0 victory right now for Marymount, California 2.
M1v2 played that really well, and just really tight groupings. Not taking the first shot, but making sure they take the last shot.
Yeah, very good decision. One thing you need to keep in mind in that type of situation, this is really why it digested in that direction, was the crossfire. M2 gave the information to his side, says, hey, there's a Phoenix in the middle of sight, right there. He's holding me tight. I can maybe escape. I do get away. Fonzie's in the back, turns around, can deal with that. M2 doesn't have to worry about that. Trusts his teammate enough to handle that, and it's exactly what happened. Flank from the rotate onto the backside. It's going to go all the way around towards that shower side portal, and that's where your Spike is. Running out now. He'll actually lose the fight to Krupster, however. Leela out for the count. A man advantage pretty early on. Big ultimate use from Sushi Rice. It doesn't actually find anyone, but it does scare them away from the center of sight, and this Killjoy ultimate's going to be a huge slowing down factor, just completely canceling off the A site push. So that Killjoy ultimate that we saw, sorry, not Killjoy, so the Raze ultimate we saw come through, not actually able to find anything because they just step back anyways, but I'll tell you who is. Krupster, who finds M2v1, denying that A site presence. But the entirety of Marymount has actually made the return. Fonzie with a double kill, Krupster and Anderson falling. Usain finding one as well, and Fonzie finds their 3K. Sushi and Clarence will fall. Close though. Upper Iowa had an upper advantage for a second there.
For a moment there, I thought Upper Iowa was going to have something. The Rise had went all the way over to the B sides. Peacocks had a 4v2 there, but the rotation just came back too quickly, and they were able to negate the advantage Upper Iowa had. I'm also going to call you out here, Scott. M1v2, not M2v1. M1v2. You've been saying M2.
It's M2 in the scoreboard, which is why I'm saying it.
Oh, well, I'm looking at, okay. Hey, I'm just looking at the caster notes that we get.
I mean, maybe caster's notes are wrong. Maybe he's just changed his name. His current name is M2v1, so I've just been saying that, but...
Fair. I'm going to go with you then on with the online name, and I'm just going to say that our producer gave us bad caster notes.
Yeah, it's definitely the producer that supplies us the notes, so we'll blame it on him.
Well, who else would it be? Who else would it be?
You're right. You're totally right. But pretty good initiation. You lost a player pretty early on. The Hunter's Fury from Leela will find Massacre. Won't find any others, but Fonzie onto the top of Sushi. Upper Iowa had a chance. They got a frag early on to tie it back out, but that Hunter's Fury and, of course, the player in the backside will even it back out. Clarence with the blades will find one into the back of that elbow. Will now be on the prowl to find yet another. Great camera work here. This is interesting to see on how this digests. Turning around the corner now. Does spot the player. Doesn't hit the shots. Leela will instead. And now a 1v3. Player behind Lore from M2v1. From that B-Long will find the kill in another Marymount, California round victory.
No, and that's another one. You know, Upper Iowa, they were in the right spot. They made the right play. They just didn't hit the shot. With a little bit more experience and a little bit more time in game, they're going to hit those shots. That's all it's going to take is just a little bit more experience, because they were in the right spot and they actually took the first shot. They just missed it.
I think the way to which and fix that is usually the term "hit your shots forehead," right? I think that's like the internet slang for that, right? Just hit your shots forehead. I think it's something very normal, right? If you just can't hit your shots, it happens. You have bad days. Sometimes you just always have bad days. I've definitely always had bad days.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, if it was me, I would just be like,
consistently.
hey, shoot better. If you shoot better, you're going to win. That's all I would ever tell them.
I can see where your coaching comes from. just shoot better. It's fine.
Just shoot better, guys. Just shoot better.
Battle bot making its way across. Leela now stepping through the smoke. Will Stewie 2K it, but a nade in hand will be tossed straight into him. Leela now getting aggressive. Back inside of Garden. Clarence is holding strong as well. It's going to be a Hunter's Fury, though. The last shot going into Garden. Leela extremely low in HP. Will be able to step all the way back through that elbow to escape narrowly with their life. Boom bot! Almost the thing to find the kill, but M2v1 and Usain will find it instead. A 5v2 flank coming from this B short. Player stepping out. M2 finding it, and Massacre will be massacred. And Air Anderson will find some air as his body flops backwards down B short.
Just some great shooting there from Marymount. Just very disciplined. Like I said it before, very disciplined, good groupings, not riding the trigger, you know, going with groups of shots rather than just full auto. And that's the way you got to do it. You got to make your shots count. And what, 3 of those 5 kills were headshots, if I counted correctly there, Scott?
I believe so. I could be incorrect. I'm mostly paying attention to their status quo and utility usage, so I'm not exactly always looking for who hits.
Hey, that's why there's 2 of us, Scott. That's why there's 2 of us.
I'll trust you on that. I will. But we need to see Upper Iowa be able to hit those headshots like we've seen that Marymount, California has gone for and done. Both battle bots immediately going off, or should I say boom bots is their real name. They do not clear it out, but a run it back will come through from Aaron. Yusin finds two, one with the ultimate and now one with the nade, catching Crumpster off guard. And the run it back was denied as well, so technically it was a 3 kills that came from it. But nonetheless, Leela aggressively stepping up. Massacre will fall. Clarence comes in swinging. Mouse wanting and W King their way to victory, and the player through smoke finds it, and they win against Yusin. A 3v2 engagement. M2 from behind will be refragged. Clarence on a 3K. 2 players from behind now, the only 2. They'll dash forward, not aware of the player. They're updraft, and it's not enough. It will be not just paranoid, but also killed by ProDrift.
And, you know, at that point, they didn't know where the shots were coming from. They didn't know if they needed to look left or right. They were in a T intersection, and they just looked the wrong way. If they looked the right way, that might go differently. Who knows?
Do you think maybe the call for that is just look the right way, forehead, right? Are we going back to the forehead thing? Just look the right way.
Just look the right way.
No, when you think about games into that situation, a lot of it's going to be like VOD review. You don't get the enemy point of view or your opposing team's point of view. If you're not VOD reviewer, you're just like, oh, sometimes they're here. No, they're consistently there, and you need to VOD review and see that going through.
That one looks painful, Scott. That one looks painful.
Absolutely. Yeah, Paranoia also coming through. ProDrift finding player that flanked through. He'll actually have Paranoid his teammate, but it's not going to matter. ProDrift on the 3K. Massacre finding him to maybe stopping the bleeding just a little bit, but Yusin holding U-Haul will fall. Nice kill from Massacre, but ProDrift is not going to be outdone. A 4K, and he's looking for the ace. Will he find it? No, he won't. Clarence denying. It could have been a very nice ace. We'll use the Blade Storm. I'm a little bit hesitant about this decision, but seeing the current score line and seeing that it is only a 2v1, I actually think this might be the right decision to try and win this one out. But player in heaven could be a sightline disadvantage. Won't connect it, and Leela will. Operator will find the kill. An 11-0 score line.
I don't know what to say there. That's just a great shot by the operator in heaven. That's the perfect scenario. You're waiting, you know where they are. You know they have to come through that hallway, and just make your shot. And that's what I said earlier. Just shoot better. And in that one, Leela just shot better.
One of the ways in which you can kind of, because we've been talking about improving, one of the ways you can kind of improve in a situation right there is, in R6, we have an ability, it's called Q and E. It's called lean spamming, where you look like a crazy person just shaking everywhere, and you can lean spam to peek your head out to see if they're there. You can do the same thing in a sense here, where you can bunny hop curve around a corner to get a sightline while staying reasonably safe with enough swiftness to not get shot out. Could have been something to go through, especially on a player like Jet, who can also just dash into a safer positioning. Could have been something to maybe think about. You just need the information first, which is why Cyphers and of course, Killjoys are so popular.
Ooh. Leela with that operator, that long angle. Oh.
Yeah, no, they have 2 operators.
Yep, they do.
How many operators do they have? They have 2. All right.
They have 2. 2 that we've heard.
Yeah, that's true. Krupster in a bad situation. Paranoia will absolutely devastate the retinas and eyes of this player now sitting inside showers, and they're just coming in swiftly. Nothing. They get a good shot through wall. Tries to find him too. Can't do it. And a flawless round for the defenders and a flawless half. We could see a 13-0 here.
We could. Absolutely could. And, you know, just looking at the what these teams have done so far this year, it's not surprising. Marymount's a really good team.
They've done a phenomenal job so far. Having only lost to North Alabama, and I haven't watched it, so maybe it was a forfeit loss. Who knows? I have no clue. I know North Alabama played tonight. I don't know how well they did, but I know that they did play tonight. They were all in the Discord down below, inside of NECC's Discord, so that's how I know. I don't actively keep up with my own university. Pretty bad about
who
that.
Who really does these days? Who really does?
I mean, it's just like the most cool thing about any university nowadays, the esports program. Who'd keep up, right? Like,
oh yeah. You know. Let's see if Upper Highway has any more luck on defense than they did on the attacking side.
I think if there's any chance for them here to actually win a round, it's going to be on the pistol round, where both sides have the same kind of disadvantage. It really just comes down to either luck by clicking a little too fast, or it's going to come down to just technical skill with the wrist, you know, actually hitting those shots, which we have commonly joked about so far. But shock dart placed into the corner. Claret's kind of caught off guard, will be forced to step away. Good use of the dash. Will fall, however, to the commandos and hand to the opposition. M2 will find it on the Clarets, and Pro will find it onto, of course, Massacre. Push coming into the elbow. Won by M2 again, and they can heal themselves up. Not a care in the world on the Reyna. You win those fights every time, it's going to go that way. Sushi Rice onto Leela will refrag, but Pro Drift won't let it stand. Map 1 favorably, quite favorably in favor of the Marymount California 2 side. Saw some promising things from Upper Iowa. I think there's a lot they could work on. It really just comes down to technical skill. You can run the same strategies over and over and over again, but you do have to get those kills and click those heads, right? You do have to have those coming through, but pretty
just
good
like
all
a
around.
professional, just like a professional photographer, you have to make sure you get your headshots.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna go in Marymount, California. They snuck out that one. Just snuck out the 13-0. But no, definitely it looked like the better team on that one. I mean, let's take a look at something here. Fonz the Oxlong never died. That entire map, they never died. If you go an entire map and if you have somebody on your team go an entire map without dying, you're probably gonna win. I'm just gonna put that one out there. You're probably gonna win if you have somebody not die on an entire map. It's really hard to lose in that situation. It's really hard.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can talk a little bit more about it after the break, but we'll head to a short 5-minute break. Our producer here has to do something as well. Maybe it's what he was complaining about earlier when we could hear him in our ears, but we'll figure this one out. My name's Infernosis, joined here by Jim. We'll be right back after a short 5-minute break, and we'll catch you guys on map 2.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
We're
back
welcome
here
back.
in map number 2. It's going to be Ascent. My casting partner here trying and failing not to laugh as my producer called me out right before we started. You'd think a good producer wouldn't call out his casters when he's about to put them on the air, or at least maybe he would delay putting them on the air till they stop laughing. Infernosis on the left, on that side of your screen over there, looks like he might be crying. He's trying so hard not to laugh, and I put that directly on the hands of the producer. But Scott, after map 1 right there, what are we looking for on Ascent here for map number 2?
Hopefully not a 13-0.
Hopefully
first and
not.
foremost.
I'd really
one-
like to see a little bit more well-balanced match here on map number 2.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. One map, one single round. That's the difference between this map and the next map. And one thing that I have noticed is some fairly good control from Upper Iowa in terms of trying to take control of the map. A lot more of it, though, from Merrimack, California. You do see that it was M2 every time staying in A. Did not care. Basically never rotated over to B, right? If they did, they were an extreme flank and just caught everyone off guard, right? This map is so situationally aware about this mid lane. This mid lane is everything for you. And there's a lot of maps that are like that. This one is pretty heavily. I think it's probably the second most map in terms of importance for this middle section. If you watch the game just before this, which was a pretty good game, I won't lie, and I did have the pleasure of casting that one for Sacramento State and, FGCU. FGCU barely winning it in like a fourth, overtime, but it was because they literally never took control of mid lane. They had a massive lead of 8 rounds, and then they threw it because they weren't taking control of the mid lane on the attack. Sacramento State, however, did exactly that on both defense and attack, and they completely made the comeback to be able to do so because of it. So, just to show you how important that mid lane is, you can just go back and watch the VOD for Game 3, and it will tell you just how important it is. So, hopefully we'll see that coming from both sides. Hopefully Upper Iowa can find a round win, and hopefully we see an Astra.
Hopefully. I do think we're going to see a Brimstone coming out of Upper Iowa, just a little bit more crowd control. Probably going to give them a little bit more of what they need. And it is being hovered right now there by Massacre. So we'll see if that Brimstone does come through. But maybe a little bit more crowd control. Maybe lets them set up a little bit more, gives them that extra second to shoot that might be what they need to hit some of those shots that they missed on map number 1.
It does get locked in, and you've already locked in your 2 duelists. You're going to bring a Raze and a Phoenix in, and that's nothing too strange. You're going to opt now. Do you go with that support pick? Do you go with that, healer in tow? Or do you also go with Sova instead of something like a Cypher or I don't know why I said it like that, Cypher or a Killjoy? They are going to opt for the support player instead. Clarence kind of waiting it out right here. Seems to really want to go with the Sova, but looking over on the opposing side, Pro back on the Omen. Yusin is back on the Raze. We're going to see that in tow again. We are seeing the Sova on the... I mean, it's the same exact lineup, I believe. They're playing the exact same major lineup.
It's the same exact lineup. The only one who hasn't locked in yet is Pro Drift on the Omen. There it is. There's the lock-in. I really don't think that Clarence is going to go off the Sova. I think he was just waiting just for the sake of waiting.
Just to waste time.
Yeah, just kill a little time. Maybe Upper Iowa just wanted to talk about things a little, 10 extra seconds maybe.
You got to use direction real fast. Just sit in.
Something.
It's totally fine.
There it is.
Pour yourself in
every bit of that clock. Just every bit of the clock.
What is this, Rainbow Six, where the entire meta revolves around wasting 3 minutes and then pushing the last 10?
I mean, sure, why not?
Where one map lasts an hour and a half because it goes to overtime and it's 5-minute rounds.
I mean, once again, why not? Why not?
I thought Valorant would be a quicker paced game, and then I learned about unlimited overtime.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with unlimited overtime. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm sure probably
gotta play the game. Gotta play the game, Scott. Gotta play the game.
I play
what
the
I'm
game,
hoping for. I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to see Upper Iowa take out Fonzie Oxlong. They have lived for too long, Scott. They have lived for too long.
13 rounds of uncontested rage from Fonzie. Uncontested information. And a much different B objective than the map previously, right? You had more than one escape on that last B objective that they could step away from once their information's been gathered. Not here. You're stuck in Boathouse, which is where Fonzie's sitting. You're trapped in this outlet. Nothing you can do if they push and take side except win your ones. And it's really going to be a 1v1 or 1v3 or 1v5 because they're going to try and go in fairly aggressively already from the start. Oh my goodness! 2 into the nano nade, finding Air Anderson and Sushi, and Fonzie does not want to die, and Yusin finding another 2. Last player standing for the opposition. Will Fonzie get the 3K? They will. Right clicks into the chest of Clarence. A round 1 flawless victory, and I believe like 20 seconds flat.
And you know, the utility that they're bringing there is just perfect. Their use of their utility there is so good. And you know, if I'm Upper Iowa, I wouldn't go over there again. Not for a while at least, or if they do go over there, I would go through mid. I wouldn't walk into that same ambush again.
Absolutely not. I mean, Fonzie's even opting to switch it up. Whether that actually will show usefulness against Upper Iowa, time will have to tell. They're not going to put the nano nades up on top of that catwalk. Instead, they're going to put them down below in the actual objective, which, again, you drop down that catwalk, kind of like that B window we see previously, that hookah window on the last map. You're kind of forced to drop into those nano nades, and you're going to get absolutely shredded by it. But the push that's actually coming over on the A side, I just wanted to comment on it because it was different, but ProDrift finding a kill onto Clarence, giving themselves a very strong situation at the beginning, a man advantage, not that they necessarily needed it to find the kills they needed. It does look like we are going to see Upper Iowa up to maybe head in a different direction.
Looks like they might be going through mid here.
I think the mid decision is actually the right choice, all things considering. We already talked about it, but it's getting decimated because you haven't fully shut down that puppy hold. A nade from Yusin will find, and then you have Leela now finds their second. And of course, you also had your Odin find the kill. ProDrift. Just nothing that could be done about it. And then Fonzie, still sitting over on the B side, completely uncontested. Just doing whatever they need to do. They don't care in the slightest. We had noticed this consistently. Whenever A has been held, it's always been held by M2, and they really won't leave that. And whenever B has been held, it's held by Fonzie. So it's just consistency. It's very nice to see.
If it works, don't fix it, Scott. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, please fix it.
Yes, if it's broken,
so
fix
win
it.
rounds.
Win rounds, shoot better.
This is just another way to say just click heads, just win.
Click heads. That's an interesting buy on this one for Marymount. As ProDrift only had a ghost. That's all ProDrift had. There was a ghost.
Maybe they're toying with their food right now. Maybe they're trying to just play with some separate things. They are going to see that little bit of a buff come through. Clarence may have an opportunity for a second. Will actually win it because M2 couldn't hit enough of those shotgun shots. And now a 2v4. Fonzie, who has yet to die, and Leela as well, who has yet to die. Except they did die last map, but Fonzie has yet to die in general. We'll have to clutch this one up. Shot connecting Leela onto Air Anderson. It's back
Nicely
to a 2v3.
The Upper Eye was still favoring these LMGs with the headshots coming from Marymount.
Missed opportunity for a recon. It does connect and tag, but stepping up, Leela finding Sushi. Fonzie finally making the rotation over, and Spike up brought all the way to window. Upper Iowa, where are you taking the Spike in this situation? You've lost all control of the situation, and now Fonzie has free reign to just step back in and hold out that a defensive side spawn. And Leela all the way in, finding one. Now Krupster will be able to take the refrag. And it's a one-on-one Krupster against the literally undefeated Fonzie. Spike has been grabbed, information known, and Fonzie will find the kill. Close, but no cigar.
You know, and I talked about it on map number 1. I think every kill for Marymount that round was a headshot. And that's the difference right now. If you're making headshots and your opponents are making body shots, you're going to win the round. It's that simple. If
you kill everyone else, you win the round.
Hey, man, John Madden said it best, and he said it simple. I'm just looking after the best. But no, headshots beat body shots. Headshots beat body shots, guys. That's what we're talking about here.
Crosshair placement. That's the name of the game. Crosshair placement. I've played with people that are way better than me at every video game, right? I've played with really high-level players. I played with the highest-ranked people in R6. You know, letting them carry me for no reason because I'm bored, right? Because I have contacts, because I cast R6, so I get to enjoy time with that. Their crosshair placement is billions of miles ahead of mine, and it shows every time they win these firefights. M2, however, winning 2 firefights back-to-back will fall to Clarence, and shots through that brimstone smoke will make it a lot more difficult. Massacre, who's managed to find Yusin. It's evened it back out, a 3v3 situation if they have bottom mid, and they do actually have some of that B main or B lobby under control as well.
They just got to be careful because all of that utility is still sitting down there.
We know the nades are down below. Clarence sees them, still walks into them, and will be stuck in boat. Denied by Fonzie. Clarence, you're safe in the corner, just sits. Fonzie finding Krupster.
An interesting choice there by Clarence.
And Leela will finish that one off yet again. I think this is going to be the biggest part of this match is Fonzie, 0 deaths still.
Still at 0.
0 deaths.
17 rounds in a row.
17
Now, with that being
rounds
said,
in a row.
they are just sitting on one side. They're not pulling.
They're camping, guys. What a camper.
No, I got nothing bad to say about it. Nothing bad to say about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And at the moment, Fonzie's sitting there going, "What's up?" So 17 rounds. That's got to be some kind of record.
Actually, I don't know if we have the data for that, but that's probably pretty close to an NECC record in terms of being
Gotta be.
not dying for that long. But
Gotta be.
record for on stream. That's what we just got told in our producers. We feigned the ear touch. Record on stream, phenomenal. Upper Iowa has helped the record out phenomenally.
We just saw Pro Drift does have their operators, so that could be trouble for Upper Iowa.
Mid control was trying to be gathered once again for Upper Iowa. They did have it for a little bit, but it doesn't matter when the Marymount, California side won't let it stand. They say, hey, you can have it, but you're now stuck in the middle of this courtyard with nowhere to go, and we'll flawless round you as Leela finds the last kill on a Krupster.
And even then, in a 5v1, still a headshot. Like, that's just what that's just the skill you can see coming out of Marymount. It helps when your opponent's standing still in a corner. But just so many of their kills have been headshots, just the trigger discipline, the groupings, just really good play here.
It's exactly what you want to see. I am a little bit worried now of the fact that it looks like they're going to go for this B push. Fonzie could have their work cut out for them. They have slightly moved the nades. This time they're going to put all the nades in one spot, I think, or maybe they haven't thrown the second. But those nano nades that we've seen success, nope, there's the other one thrown now. This is going to be placed a little bit tighter. That's going to be on the top of that catwalk once again. Boombot will go out, but Yusin finds the kill to Sushi Rice, revived by Krupster. And Yusin does not want to let that stand. Leela, 2 through the wall, 3 through the wall, a triple kill. And they'll go back with their own Hunter's Fury, but this is not going to matter except to pick up the consolation prize that is the kill. But he's going to find a second. Clarence finds onto Leela. Yusin finds Aaron Anderson, and now Clarence is the last person standing facing off against them two. And it's going to go in favor once again of Marymount, California.
Just really great there from Leela with the Hunter's Fury. Just great. That's the way it's supposed to be done. You wait for your opponents to line up in a narrow hallway, and then you just, carefully caress that button and, line up your kills.
I mean, at this point, I don't even think Marymount needs this whole entire buy phase to prepare. I'm going to be honest. I think they have it. They know exactly what they're going to do, right? They've got it down to a T. Their strategy is very well done. But I think a lot of what their strategy is going to come down to is instead just saying, hey, let's just fight, right? We're winning that. Let's just fight. Right? I think that's a fun little game in itself. It's basically a death match. You don't get to revive, but you do get to have fun and really just play to your heart's content. And Aaron Anderson, who plays a little bit better, finds the kill into the opposing player.
Speaking of just fighting, Upper Iowa's by this round.
Yeah, they really like it. They like it a lot. They want to stick with it. The Aries.
I tell you what, if you put more rounds downrange, it might just work.
Yes, statistically speaking, if you fire more bullets, you'll connect more. But when the opposition in Marymount, California fires 3 bullets and connect with 5, there seems to be more problems than just not a range of bullets.
This is true. This is true.
It looked good for a second. Pro Drift and Houston finding 2 kills. Aronson of the refrag. Massacre finding Fonzie. Fonzie finally dies! And Houston will find Massacre as well.
You were really excited about that, Scott. You were
I
really
really
excited.
am, dude. I'm really happy for Upper Iowa. That is a victory in my books. And they might have a chance, actually, to just find a victory in general here. Maybe the LMGs were actually the smart decision. They don't have Spike, though. I think once again, they brought
they don't
that
have
over
the
to
spike.
tree.
They need the spike.
I think they brought it to window again. That's in window. Upper Iowa, please, for the love of everything, stop bringing Spike down window. That's why you lose, as Leela and Usain find the last two.
Ah, man. An interesting by the though, trying something, saying, hey, we're having trouble. We're not hitting our shots. Let's put the law of averages on our side and see what happens. Picked up 3. They picked up 3, including the Fawns. So
It's true. The Fawns, that is the boss fight of this matchup. They may not be dropping the most kills, but they're certainly dropping the least amount of deaths.
absolutely.
Absolutely. They're not a mini boss. I think Leela's the mini boss here. Maybe
Yeah.
Usain. No, they're they're the boss.
And Upper Iowa's going for those areas again, with some bulldogs on top.
All right, Upper Iowa, please. I know you can't hear me. Thank goodness. If you're going to take a site, do not bring the spike over through Garden. Leela, nice shot at a Sushi Rice, taking advantage of that pixel angle. We'll take him out. A flash will come through. Clarence trying to maybe tag out, but it's not going to matter.
Flank coming through here through the back. That's Reyna coming through the back.
M2v1 is doing a phenomenal job every time. The audio is on their side as well. Project finding Air Anderson, but M2 absolutely devastating. Lines them up, will find one. Sprays to find the second, and Usain will find the third. And a boom bot to go off at the end. Just a little bit of a firework at the end
Just
of the
a little
round.
flash. Just a little flash at the end.
A little flashy. I'm a little upset. Actually, you know what I'm going to say? M2, I'm a little upset with your aim right there. I expected a little bit more of a flashy ending.
Their aim's been pretty good all night there, Scott. I think we can forgive them for that one round.
Obviously. But, I expected more of it, right? I mean, I wanted to see the da-da-da, like triple tap right back to back.
All right.
If you're going to
at
give
this
their back
point,
that much, then...
At this point, I'm just having fun looking at the buys that Upper Iowa has. 2 judges, an Ares, a Vandal, and a Spectre.
They're really having fun with it here, which I guess is a part of the game. It is an esport. Have fun with it as well, but... Did he try to teleport in? Did I just see ProDrift attempt to teleport into B main?
I think you did. Whoa! Op shot there goes just wide.
Close shot. That was Leela on the actual push. They're holding inside of Puppy, or otherwise known as Cubby. NASCAR was watching the flank with a shotgun, I might add, but ProDrift not needing to have a flank watch. He'll fall to Clarence after finding 2. All right, and an ultimate will come out as well. It'll be Massacre who will find the kill actually onto M2. The Empress not lasting long.
And the Upper Iowa here, trading out for the Vandals. It's a smart play to trade out for the Vandals, get what they need.
Yeah, you do have those weapons in hand. Leela in a little bit of a firefight situation. Florence not able to actually secure the kill, but we'll get a little bit better. Usain onto Massacre. Thankfully, it's not the spike in that situation that they brought into guarded, so it should be pulled, but Leela on the shot to Clarence and pockets. They have spike down, the first one we've seen. Fonzie dies again, but Usain will get the kill. Raid boss killed, but the round is still lost.
I mean, sometimes you got to take the victories that you can get. They got the spike down. They killed Fonzie. Upper Iowa's going to take that one to the bank.
Exactly what you want to see in that situation. Everything is just coming up peachy if you are the Marymount, California side. Now flip that on its head. Upper Iowa, you're really having fun with it. That's what we'll say. They're having fun with it. If you take a look at their buys consistently, they're having fun with it. Maybe not so much this round. They're not rocking all LMGs, but
I'll find them.
I mean, if you're low on cash, you got to do what you got to do.
Radar Dart will come out. It actually does get usage, and it's still going, actually. I'm kind of shocked here. They haven't shot that out. Player seemingly somewhat near wine. That's going to be M2 once again. Very nice paranoia, forcing Aaron to just spray and pray, but ProDrift finding 2 from nowhere. What? 2
headshots, not just 2 headshots. How? How is my question? How did that happen? Great shooting.
I am at an inevitable loss. Through 2 smokes, 2 headshots. Maybe the first one understandable, hiding below, but maybe the second was just pure luck. ProDrift finding out Massacre, a flawless round for Marymount, California. And you got to keep in mind, this is Marymount, California's second team, who lost in the preseason to Marymount, California's first team. So either Marymount, California 2 is a very phenomenal team and could move up,
Or Marymount's just stacked for Valorant.
that's it. Marymount's just stacked for Valorant.
This absolutely could be just stacked for Valorant. Then again, Marymount 2 did lose to North Alabama, so I mean, who knows?
That is true, and I have no idea how that game wins. I've been saying that the entire time. I want to watch that VOD now, just because it's making consistency for me an issue. But nade will come through. Aaron Anderson does get a little bit of a tag off. It looks like a pretty aggressive push. The nano nade finding Massacre, stepping into it. And they're going to hold that stairway as well. Fonzie coming through. He has the opportunity. A revive will come from Krupster onto Massacre, but it's not going to matter. Sushi Rice will take Usain, but Fonzie finds a 4th. Clarence and Aaron Anderson falling. Massacre, no chance. And that's exactly what it was. A massacre in the making as M2 and ProDrift find the last. An 11-0 right now. And this is the last round. Full buy must come from both.
I tell you, 6 kills there. 6 kills there from Marymount because there was a resurrection. I was looking for Fonzie to get the ace. They had 2 different chances at a 5K, and their teammates took both of them away.
I wanted the 6K. What are you on about? Does it show a new symbol? I've never seen it. Does it show something different?
I don't know.
When the screen comes up, does it say ace +1, like a small tertiary add-on? Just
Ace of Spades, maybe, like specifically.
Okay, it does show VI in the kill feed apparently, which is already more than I anticipated, so I'm glad about that. But Hunter will come out from Clarence, gonna go ahead and use the ultimate. Nobody there whatsoever. Instead playing safe inside tree, 2 in tree, 2 up on rafters. They know the push is coming. Nothing they can do about it. 1 flank, however, the Brimstone coming through that courtyard in mid could be a big problem. Run it back now, coming from Aaron Anderson. He has an option to step inside, but he'll lose that engagement.
Got some good information though there. Got some information for the rest of his team.
M2 finally killed Florence. Aaron Anderson finding Leela on the runaround. The lure kind of cutting the eyesight off, but it doesn't seem to matter. Fonzie on the Massacre. Sushi onto M2 in a 3v3. Ray's ult does come through. Hopefully Sushi Rice can find the kill. No, they've stepped away from that Raptor side. One player is holding extremely tight, though. It's ProDrift who finds 2 on Aaron Anderson and Sushi, and Krupster will fall for the 3K. ProDrift ending that round off spectacularly, and we're back to the pistol round here at the halftime switch.
You know, Scott, we've been talking Upper Iowa, having a little bit of fun with some of their buys. You think, and there it is. They put it in the chat. Upper Iowa asking for a knife round.
We saw this exact same thing in game 1, which was a 13-0 and then a 13-1 of the today. I didn't get to cast that, unfortunately, but I did get to watch it live and listen to them do it. They knife fight in Portal Room on Split. Sorry, not on Split, on Bind. They knife fight in Portal Room from that mid portal to be short. And they won. The team, that's where they got their 1-round victory. Can we see the same thing from Upper Iowa? Are they just goaded with the blade? Or are they going to fail and end this one off 13-0, 13-0?
Well, here's the thing. It could also be the fake where they come in with guns up and just mow them down.
There is a limit to being toxic. Respect the knife fight call that, all right? There's some respect.
Here we go.
Krupster on the flank. Oh, almost had it. No, they're calling for a 1v1. They're calling for a 1v1.
There he is. There it is.
They're going to go Aaron Anderson versus M2. No, Clarence joining in. Clarence, stay out of the 1v1. Aaron Anderson trying to go for the Clarence, still going in. What are you doing here? It's a rule book for a reason. Fonzie against Sushi. They tag each other. Fonzie lower now. They're just chasing each other down. ProDrift onto Aaron Anderson. Krupster and Clarence fighting Leela and M2. Not looking good already, but Fonzie will even it back out to the 3v3. ProDrift making it to their favor. Massacre falls, and it's going to be a 3v2. Fonzie in a bad situation, but it's just Clarence remaining. Sorry, not just Clarence. Clarence just falls. It's going to be just Krupster remaining. They're just running around. They don't know what to do. They're just going to start running. Just run, Krupster.
Oh, there it is.
Finding Fonzie. Now back to a 1v2. UC will get it, however, a headshot with the blade in a 13-0 victory for Marymount, California 2.
Hey, a fun ending. A fun ending to a long night. Gotta love it. A fun ending to a long night, and not just a quick one either, but a really long knife fight there.
A very nice knife fight. Yeah, it wasn't just because the one in game one ended a little bit prematurely. It was just a brawl out. There was at least some level of coordination for this one. Very reminiscent of what I do in R6 when my team disconnects and my only chance is to knife 5 people in a row. I'll just say 1v1s. 1v1s. It's your one chance, right? Let them have it. Take the chance. And it almost never works. But sometimes it does work out. And I like to see that level of, favorability between both sides. None of them will angry at the other. Both opting to go for it. Mad respect for both sides. But we do see Marymount California's 2 squad winning out 26-0 across both maps. Not the result that was initially anticipated.
No. I think it's the one that probably makes the most sense, though. Marymount, just a really good squad there, and showed it. Just trigger discipline. I've said it all night. Trigger discipline, great groupings. Just shoot better. That's all it comes down to sometimes like that. I'm going to ask you, though, Scott. They ask us casters the day after all of the matches, like a player of the game, player of the week type of thing. Across all divisions, we get to pick one across all divisions. What do you think about Fonzie Oxlong?
You know what? Actually, here's the issue and consistency with that. I had to cast some pretty darn good games today. I really enjoyed the games at which I was able to cast today. And if I'm going to give one for game 2, if I'm going to give a player the game for game 2, I wouldn't have one individual person in which I'm going to say this is it. There just wasn't that person, besides maybe Mick One Tap, because they really tried their best to come through, and they did quite well on that Rio Grande side. But game 3, I definitely would have to give it over to maybe Psycho, maybe Rux. There wasn't a huge player individually. Both sides went kind of back and forth, so there wasn't this huge consistency problem. Nightmare did very well as well.
And Psycho and Rux both ended up on the losing side of that one. It's really hard to give player of the week to somebody on the losing side. And I'm just looking, not only did Fonzie stay alive all of map 1,
but broke the record for on-stream no death.
Solo holds. Some of their solo holds were crazy. Just crazy solo holds. They weren't just hanging out over there, having a coffee break. They were doing work.
So the question here comes down to, 1, do we give it to the team that wins in a 26-0 victory, but the player had a spectacular record-breaking NECC stream? Or do we give it to teams that had back and forth, constant action, one side not taking it over the other, and it coming out to down literally to the wire in a triple or quadruple overtime? Which one do you give it to? And I'm going to leave that up to the viewers. I'm going to leave that up to the casters that were able to go for today, because I want to see some other opinions that come through. Quite honestly, I would probably give to Fonzie, the raid boss. I think that is what that is going to be my quote. That will probably go on the Twitter feed if they do in fact win that. Fonzie Oxlong, the raid boss of Marymount, California.
I think it needs a name change. Fonzie needs a name change. The raid boss needs to be their new name.
Absolutely. So we had a phenomenal matchup tonight. In 3 games before, we had a great game in this one, and I look forward to seeing each and every single one of you next week. I'll also be here tomorrow for Overwatch coming through, but thank you guys very much for watching. My name's Infernosis, joined here by Jim. A very fun night casting. It may have been a short one, but I enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys in the next broadcast.